Go.
You are now entering Maximum Driftcast, the only drifting podcast hosted by a Spanish soccer mom, a 30-year-old silver-haired fox going on 60, and finally, a 200-pound bowl of spaghetti with chimichanga arms.
The champions, we are the champions.
And we're back for the second episode of the year. Is this the second one we've done?
It's the second episode of
Maximum Driftcast.
27.
God, Sam.
Oh, my
God. You made me lose count.
Can we? We're not live, are we? Can we start over?
Yeah, we could probably start over. Hey, can you wheel the knife more when we cut to you?
Yeah.
Just
Oh
cut
my
the
God.
knife. What? What are you doing with the knife, Sam? And we're back with Maximum Driftcast. Thanks for tuning back in.
This is Maximum Knife Cast, and I figured that today we could just talk all about my pocket knife. And
Oh, nice.
it's a 9.9-inch blade. It's made out of titanium alloy with
Nice.
space meteorite flecked in between.
Yep.
First time opening it up, I almost cut my arm off, and that's cool though. To be fair.
Well, we're glad that you kept your arm, Sam. Thanks for calling in. We look forward to talk to you next week.
All right, cool. Corey, instead of a show today, do you just want to leave Paco at his own devices and go play Unknown Battlegrounds with me?
Yeah, let's go play some PUBG on the PC, Sam, and we'll be back next week.
You're a bunch of
See you,
nerds.
All right, see you
Good luck
guys.
with the show.
You're a bunch of nerds. PUBG. Most people. Okay, so Corey has just left the room. He's about to go play PUBG. Oh, Sam just left the room as well. So I guess this is it. Welcome to Maximum Paco Cast, the only drifting podcast hosted by Paco Ibarra, and that's it because Sam and Corey are playing.
Hey, you don't need me
PUBG.
anymore since there's one camera, right? I'm gonna go play.
I
I'll be
hope
right
you're
back.
not go. Oh shit! Okay, so Brian is gonna go play too. So it's okay. We don't need cameras to switch anymore because it's just me. Oh, looks like Sam is back.
Oh, hey. Yeah,
Oh.
we're back.
How was the round?
We just got a bunch of chicken dinners, and now we're ready for the show. Corey's taking a quick bathroom break because he usually drinks a lot of energy drinks going into
Oh,
a lot of
wait,
energy drinks,
he's
a
back.
lot of vegetable juice.
Which, by the way,
It goes
Corey,
right through.
Sorry, I came back as soon as I heard Maximum Hentai Cast.
Oh, yeah.
So.
of course.
No, it said Maximum Hentai Cats. They're like anime cats.
Nice.
Yeah, hentai cats it's like the best of both worlds. You know, you mix hentai with furries.
Can I?
Is that Paco? Hold on. Are those the two worlds that you're interested in for the most part?
First of all, they're known as subculture, Sam. Actually, furries, it's a fandom. You know what I'm saying?
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Can I tell you guys something?
Okay.
Respect the fur.
Can I tell you
Yeah,
guys
Corey,
something?
go ahead.
Please.
I set a new world record for myself. I don't know if it's a world, but it's a personal world record.
Yeah.
Number of jacks ripped in a week.
How many hours you spend in the toilet?
That, Sam, that's one of them. I can't believe you guessed that. Number two is actually, this is my first time getting dressed in 4 days.
Hell yeah, dude! Why?
I
what's
went
she been-
4 days in my underwear and not leaving my house.
That's
I didn't even step outside.
That's beautiful.
Isn't that cool? That's a new personal goal. So I went 4 days without getting dressed and 4 days without going outside. And
shower?
I showered when I started feeling really stinky.
But he showered with clothes on, with
Yeah.
whatever he had on.
Yep. But I did burn the underwear I did wear for 4 days. So that turned into it. Actually, when I burned, I saw like spirits flying off of it. Like it was.
That's exactly how stars are formed. People thought that it was the Falcon X rocket launch, but it's actually this Corey's underwear going up in
No, it
flames.
looked like the phoenix bird. Actually, when I lit
Yep.
it on fire, a
Those were the
bird
those were
was
the
summoned. It looked
was-
like a pigeon.
it was
more a pigeon than a phoenix.
It
but
was a new version of the Phoenix lights. That was
Yep.
Corey, by the way.
It was like
No,
initial
no.
D with the wings, like what is his underwear? It's just
yeah.
fine.
Corey's aura was brown.
So I don't know if you guys saw this earlier today,
Uh-oh.
Yep.
but we did an official announcement of our new website, guys. We got a new website up.
Yeah.
MaximumDriftcast.com. We actually have a website.
Oh my god, I can't wait to get a whiff of it.
So the past 4 days, I've been rolling out of my bed and then rolling into the chair and propping myself up, logging onto the interwebs, and we created
Hacking the mainframe.
the website. Now, don't get me wrong, it wasn't done in 4 days. The final touches were done in 4 days to get it launched today. But guys, we have an official website now. If you check out Maximum Driftcast,
Draft.
No. Isn't I thought the website was called adultdadfinder.org.
That's the other one that's going to be released next week that we're working on, Sam. So thanks for blowing the load on that. But MaximumDriftcast.com, we're going to have Big Balls here swing over to show you guys that are watching live what we have done and what we plan on doing before we get into drifting news. But what we're looking at now is the homepage with the sweet slider.
Yeah, I mean, it's got like 8-bit. No, it's not 8-bit. It's like 80s retro graphics. And then look at that. Oh, you can click there to become a Patreon.
Nice.
And like we said in the past, lots of pop-ups, lots of pop-unders. There's malicious
lot
downloads.
Of pop-up boners.
Like, right as you get to the site, you're prompted to download some EXE files. I recommend you do.
Yep. We will always ask for your social security number for every single click.
It's
the cursor is actually an animated PNG.
Oh,
so it's really good.
It was all built by Angel Fire and GeoCities.
GeoCities, Angel Fire.
All the top domain editors and website editors. But if you scroll up, Brian, to the top, you can see the idea behind this is our old website, which was great for hosting podcasts. It didn't give us outlet to post the breaking news and post updates and post events and post schedules.
I'm so proud of
and
those sliders.
Also, it doesn't give us an opportunity to post our schedule, the events that we're going to be at. So if we're in your area, you guys can come to our website.
I like how you can see deep inside my mouth with that really close. Visit our sponsors page.
I just thought about I thought about making like a little Easter egg and put in like a.
Well, we're gonna do that next because it's not done yet. The website's not completely done yet.
No, I know. I'm glad Sam mentioned that because I was gonna put like a hidden face on Sam's mouth.
All right, Brian. So if you want to go back,
movie Alien.
All right, hold on, guys. Let me run these guys through this real quick before we start the show here. To give you guys a quick update. So on the homepage, if you scroll down, we're gonna have news. So we are working with IDC, BDC, Formula Drift.
BDSM,
all the
BYOB.
A majority of the drifting organizations around the world, we have actually content creators, and we've put a kind of a message out last week that we're looking for content creators in certain regions to produce and show content from each round that we're going to be working with. So you'll get all the information loaded on the website. And the other complaint that we got over the years, we don't do enough grassroots stuff. Well, guess what? Now we're going to have a majority of the Pro-Am drifting organizations feeding us content, news, schedules, point standings, event schedules. So we'll also be displaying all Pro-Am event schedules, news, and information.
Eating a lot of grass, a lot of roots.
We're
talking wheatgrass. We're talking Bermuda grass.
Bermuda beauty.
We're talking roots. We're talking potatoes. That's a tuber, I think. Whatever. Ginger is a root. Valerian root.
He already eats a lot of ginger every weekend.
Yep.
Oh boy.
All right, and then so you guys will see breaking news and stuff up there, and then obviously finally we have a store. So Brian, if you want to cut to me real quick, let's show these guys this. We got the Maximum Driftcast koozies, which are sweet. They're finally loaded up on the website. You have the Maximum Driftcast. What is it? What do we?
Koozies are $55 each.
What do we call this, Paco?
I think Brian was saying they call them flight tags.
Flight tags
or keychains.
Actually, you can plug it onto one of these things, and it just gives you a little bit more extra leverage. It's the medallion we have.
I thought it was a tail for
the additional pull.
It's a tail for the medallion to give you like a little extra pull.
That's for the furries.
What you do is you stick it in your ignition, and then someone else rips it really fast, and you spin. You turn over and you spin real fast. Is that how it goes?
I guess that's how you start it, Sam.
You know, it's funny because we make these jokes, and then all of a sudden I see that Lorette joined. I'm like, oh, man.
We got to go PG, guys. Come on.
Lorette's
go. Listening.
Hi, Lorette. I'm sorry about everything.
Sam has a potty mouth, Lorette. Sorry. Go back to the site there real quick, Brian. We're going to show the content creator section that we briefly talked about last week, which we got tons of responses from. But you go to the About Us. There you go, Brian. He's learning to navigate too, guys. So
he's learning the internet.
So if you scroll down, meet us. There's those three guys, and there's Lorette, and there's Big Balls. But media contributors, right there for anybody that's working with us in specific regions, we're going to have a quick bio about yourself and the type of content that you're going to be creating for the page. So this is something that you can share to any other media outlet, or if you want to add that onto a resume, or if you just want to make this kind of like a home for information for yourself and your region, this is kind of a cool place to do it as well. So we'll start filling that out. We've been getting a lot of messages on that. We'll put an official email or message out to everybody when we're actually taking the applications. But that's kind of just a rundown of the site.
We want to make it like a less cool version of 2015 Speed Hunters, okay?
Right. Perfect. That is exactly it, Sam.
Why does Paco look so weird in that About page? It looks like he's got like a New Jersey Shore tan. Like he's spent a little bit too long in the
It's,
booth.
I think it's a Nito tire 10, or
Oh yeah.
or actually no, those were actually Sastinos.
You didn't.
Really?
Did Paco's nipple tire tan?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. So
Let's go to our next segment. It's Corey. You done with the fucking?
yeah, we're
website
done.
now?
Let's move on. Just get me off.
moving
Of it.
on.
I've been
All
on
right.
that thing for 4 days. I don't want to see it ever again.
New segment. What car did Paco buy this week?
Another piece of shit.
Oh my God.
Paco,
That's not
I understand you bought another car. Your 15th car. What'd you buy?
it's a Lexus SE400.
Okay.
Yeah. It's got a V8. Yeah,
Why? Why'd you buy this car?
Okay, so bear with me. So the Aztec, apparently the engine on the Aztec finally kicked the.
No.
I think it's down for it.
Oh, hold on. What's the saying?
Oh my
Paco?
God.
It's still-
Kicked,
It kicked the bucket.
It kicked the cat.
kicked the bucket.
I got that one right.
It kicked the cat in the ass.
Don't kick my cat.
Yeah, the
cat's
ca-
kicked
the,
the bucket,
kick
definitely.
the cat out of the box.
Kick the cat out of the box.
yeah.
Looks like Paco threw the box in the cat. Go on.
Exactly. So, anyways, I think the engine, I mean, it's just a head gasket or something. But instead of replacing, you're doing all the work to replace a head gasket on a Aztec and just get another Aztec, I thought of literally just swapping.
Those things are really expensive, right?
Yeah, they're like
it's-
20K a pop right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's this one's original Survivor, never restored, matching numbers. But I'm not a purist. You could.
I remember that there was a joke on American Dad that went something like, oh my God, how do you just go down and get an Aztec for $500? And they're like, oh, well, first you get $500 and you go to the Pontiac dealership and say, hello, I'd like to buy an Aztec. And they go, okay, that's $500. And then you give them the money and then you have a Pontiac Aztec.
Oh, nice.
The end.
Yep, perfect. That's exactly how it happened.
So real quick, so the 3 hours it take to swap the head gasket, it's easier to
Head gasket.
swap the whole engine.
No, the thing is, like, I mean, if I do the head gasket, I probably have to do both. And if I have to do both, I'll probably like take the heads off and get them decked so I can get a little more compression.
Oh,
make
for
a little
sure.
bit more
a little more
obviously.
peppy off the
Yeah,
bottom end. Okay.
But it's not really gonna be worth it, like all the amount of time and money that I would spend fixing a head gasket. I think I'd rather spend
Do a
it.
complete engine swap, doing an engine that's from a Toyota.
Well, the thing is, like, it will be like the one you see, like the engine with the automatic transmission, wiring and ECU. It's very like the whole thing is very standalone. I'm not swapping transmissions or anything, just leaving it automatic. It's very, very simple because the Aztec already has a rear differential because mine's an all-wheel drive.
Humble brag.
Yep.
Paco got the upgrade model.
So, I mean, it's not like for sure because I still have to get underneath. There might be some cutting
Right. Okay.
necessary.
That's your favorite thing to do.
Yeah, taking a motor out of a 2000s or 90s. What year is your Lexus?
96.
Why don't you just keep the
Take a
SC
motor out of
running and scrap?
96,
Okay,
Toyota
hold on a
and
second.
putting
But
it
Paco or
into-
Sam and Paco.
Okay.
Let's get back on the track here. Okay.
Yeah.
First, Paco, you need to finish the Buick Riata with the
I need to finish-
forklift batteries.
I need to finish the tofu van first.
Okay, so here's
Yep.
what Paco's
Yeah.
working on. Let me break it down for you guys. He's building a Buick Riata that's powered by forklift batteries,
An electric engine.
an electric engine for the Buick Riata, which is
Yeah.
still here.
I missed that one.
Okay.
Cool.
And then you're going to be building the Tofu Drift Van, which is supposed to be getting a 2JZ, which is still
1GZ.
1JZ,
let's say.
which is chopped up
1JZ.
in the backyard.
Yeah.
You got to get the Dodge van.
The Dajibon. That one I just need to lower the front.
Okay, so we need to lower the front on that one still.
Yep.
What else do we got to do?
The V8 Aztec.
And we got to do the V8 Aztec with the
Yeah.
1UZ. Okay, so we just got a couple of weeks worth of work, Sam.
You know.
And what about the drift taxi one? Brian's working.
Oh yeah,
on it.
what
Yeah,
about
that's Brian? That's
Paco-
Brian's problem now.
Gotcha.
He's loving it. I mean, he even got a new shell now.
Hold on, Brian.
Yeah, I
Brian's
got,
here he is.
Buddy JJ Collins lent me he was parting one out, so it was mostly all the parts are gone, but the parts that I damaged on the Drift Lexus limo, it's all clean on his, so we're just gonna swap it over.
Easy. It's
No
just
big
simple.
deal.
So the
Simple
work's
swapping
really not that
pieces.
much, Sam, if
Yeah.
you think about it.
Yeah, when you really think about it, it's not much.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not bad at all.
Yeah.
It's just a couple days worth.
Which
of work.
actually, I'm glad that you mentioned all those projects, Corey, because I'm gonna be posting like actual video updates of all these builds. So if everybody wants to see how I fail, they're gonna be able to watch all that. So
Sweet. That
Yep.
should be fun. And I can just
I,
sit here and watch you do it.
I changed spark plugs on my STI. That felt good.
That sucks.
Well, I'm sure it's a pain in the ass because fucking Boxer Subaru.
Boxer motors are the worst.
Yeah. Did you do it through the axles? I mean, through the frames?
No, you do it to the top. You just have to have baby fingers.
Oh,
which
good.
thankfully I do have a little cocktail, little cocktail weenies.
Wasn't that your nickname in high school?
Cocktail weenies?
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are very small hands.
No. It was I don't want to. I can't say it on a PG show. I'm sorry.
Hey, when you switch to spark plugs,
It sounded. Let's just say this. It sounded like another name for cat. Is a cat slayer.
Uh-huh.
Just another
Nice.
not bad.
Yeah, I get it.
When you pull the spark plugs out, did you take a rip off your vape and blow it in the cylinder and then plug it up with the vape sauce inside the cylinder?
Right.
Because that will give you a couple more years of life out of that Boxster. You know that, right?
The
Yeah,
lubrication from the vape. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for
also drift car update. I'm still
God.
paying $150 a month to house it and not have it worked on to
That's-
fix it because it only needs about a day worth of work and then it'll be one of the best drift cars ever made.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't get that done right now, so I'm just gonna pay $150 a month, throw that away for nothing. So
you could probably pay
that's an
somebody
update.
$150, Sam, and they'll fix it.
Yeah, $150 to fix my drift car. Just has some electrical gremlins and a major boost leak somewhere. And that's about it. Great.
All right, cool.
So seeing about drift cars just real quick, because I went a lot of people about people messaging me about updates.
Corey.
So my drift car is shipping out January 22nd
Where to?
to Portland Speed Industries. The dudes at Go Fast AZ is loading it up in their rig, which Go Fast AZ is like a service out here that helps logistical stuff.
Racing logistics.
We were talking, so they're going to be driving it up to Portland, drop it off to Jason, the dudes at PSI. They're going to finish it. The engine's at Universal Machine getting built. So by mid-February, should be ready to go. So all the things are coming together. 2JZ powered Boss 14, baby! Finally,
You have
thank
a
freaking
partnership
God.
with the Portland Speed dudes, or what's the deal there?
What's that, Sam?
Are you partnered with the Portland
Yep.
Speed men?
Yep, I'm partnered with the dudes at Portland Speedmen's. The thing was,
I feel like someone at that account talked smack on me when I was going after Derp on his account.
you probably deserved it, Sam. That's just protocol. But no, dude, honestly, it's like we've been talking for the past couple weeks and came to agreement right before Christmas. Let the holidays get over. Got Easy Go Fast set up with the transport, and now it's
happening.
It's happening. So,
Dude, everybody's projects are just like falling together. Like, isn't that
even
crazy?
Sam's, he found a permanent spot to park his car, which is that's just perfect.
It's only 2 hours away, and is well, like what my rent was in Phoenix, but that's okay because
Now you live in a mansion in Venice, so we get it.
Funny thing right now in the comments, our good buddy Brooks Church from
Team Rowdy, come on, are you throwing up right now?
No,
Jesus
just
Christ.
only from
Lock
Team
it up,
Rowdy.
up.
He's saying that, hey, good job, Sam. You have good video quality and better lightning.
Lightning or lighting?
Yeah, no lightning.
You got way better lightning, Sam.
Spoiler
Lighting.
alert, guys. Sorry, I've been holding out on you this whole time. I'm actually Raiden from Mortal Kombat.
Oh, nice. Sam Lightning.
Spoiler alert. He's
I
got
also on the update notes, I also meant to say that I now am a part of the drone army. I bought myself a drone as a late Christmas present to myself.
nice.
I got myself a
Congratulations.
DJI Mavic Pro, and I've named him Kevin. And it's funnier now because on drone flying, even though it's gotten a lot easier and better, you still like lose contact with them and weird shit happens. And it's a lot funnier when you refer to them as a human name. Like, oh my God, Kevin's going down. Or, Kevin's off the radar, or Kevin's about to run into a power line. No incidents yet, but I've been flying him while working on the new RS building.
Is there
Oh.
is there a particular reason why Kevin?
My buddy Colby was like, you should name your drone Kevin.
Okay.
That's it. The end.
Perfect. Well, congratulations on your drone.
Thanks, man. I can't wait to fly it again soon.
Nice. Hopefully it won't crash like... Hey, Corey, didn't you crash a drone?
I crashed it into a house.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, that was fun. I'll be honest with you guys.
Uh-oh.
This is another. I was pretty depressed when Pat Gooden said he wasn't running Formula Drift anymore.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he seemed very optimistic about it. Like he seemed like he had plans for this
some
year.
sir. It just seems
Yeah,
like
I was more sad than him, and I feel like I came off the wrong way. Like he didn't know it, but right when he said that, I sat on top of a Bud Light, and then I shook a bunch and hoped that it sloshed around inside of me, and it made me a little bit tipsy and a little bit sad.
Do you know what I heard, Sam? I heard if you grab like a Bud Light can and you rub it like a genie lamp and open it, Pat Gooden pops out.
Wow.
Is that true? Well, don't you have to say Pat Gooden 3 times?
No,
You
dude.
say that in the mirror.
You have to do
say
it,
that
yeah.
in the mirror 3
You have
times.
to. Is that
Wait,
same
so-
procedure, but with a can of White Claw?
You say
So
gat
guys-
pudding.
Try this at home. So what you do is you butt chug a Be Smooth,
Okay. Okay.
and then you say Pat Gooden, Gat Puddin, Fat Muddin in the
Fat
mirror
Puddin.
3 times.
3 times.
Spin around, and then Pat Gooden appears.
Yeah.
The spinning around part must be beautiful. Must be
And
quite a
so-
scene.
We're
Hi.
back.
I hate to say this, but as a disclaimer, we talk about it, I think every episode now. I don't think it's safe to butt chug alcohol.
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer, we have to
Don't
say
do
it,
this
I
at
think.
home.
Unless you're in prison and you have 1 beer left, there's no other reason you should be doing that.
Yeah, so I don't think you're supposed to. Actually, we joke, but I think that's actually.
I can think of a lot of reasons why to do it.
Okay. Well,
Anyways, I want to thank our sponsors. Yeah. For, supporting the show. All right.
well,
so,
this is rolling
Corey,
right into the next.
Do we have
sub-
anything else to talk about,
No,
or
I,
are we literally done?
Well, I was going to
talking?
use that butt chug to prelude into our phone call.
I think
so.
literally it's time to just do something else.
Yeah, I mean we've had a good show so far, but I'm thinking
2018 is
that
starting out with a bang, boys.
It's literally time to slow the show down and literally click the off button.
Okay.
Oh, looks like Brian. So like the funny thing is like Brian is actually giving away his tricks.
Yep.
What's he doing?
I don't know. He's just like he was showing the like he's called who
You
he's
didn't
called.
see anything.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my bad. Brian needs to practice his sleight of hand a little bit more.
Let me call you guys right back.
Uh
It's not on the video
Oh.
thing again. Let me call you right back.
Oh.
Does
Well,
he know that we're live?
well, it was
and
good
this
chatting
is-
with you, Ryan. We look forward to 2018, buddy.
How do you know who that was?
I
Do
know.
you recognize his beautiful velvet
Okay.
voice?
Oh.
It's
Here we
Ryan.
go.
Oh,
Ryan,
Hello.
damn! Oh, looks like it's cold over there. Who's this polar bear we're talking to?
It's just wet more than it is cold.
Ooh, even better.
Must have been with Sam all day.
Who we have in the line? Introduce
up?
yourself, gentlemen.
What's up, you guys?
Hey,
Hey.
it's Ryan Litteral, and for those watching the video portion, Ryan, you look very thick with 2 C's because your jacket blends into the chair kind of visually.
Oh, it does. You have broad shoulders.
I'm just that way, like awkward moments, I can just kind of like fade away.
Actually works
What's
pretty
going
good.
on?
First impression, you've seen Star Wars: Last Jedi, right?
Yeah, I was so pumped on it.
Do you think
Super pumped.
how thick do you think Kylo Ren looked? When he's got his-
Super thick.
Spoiler
Super
alert!
Dude.
guys,
With a
spoiler
double
alert, turn
C?
off if you haven't seen the movie, Kylo Ren has his shirt off at one scene.
No way.
Is he double C thick?
Mhm.
Well, that's why I wore my Jar Jar Binks
I was
one
gonna
day
say,
in
like-
remembrance of thickness.
If you people can see Corey right now, can you just like step in the back so people
I'll
can
scoot-
see
I'll
you
scoot
fully on
back.
the camera?
I'll scoot back just a
All right,
hair.
let's just look at Corey real quick. He's wearing like a full. What is that? Like a KKK suit?
Paco, no, come on, dude. It's Jesus
We're wearing a
Christ.
Chewbacca,
Get off that whole.
onesie for those that don't have video. And let me just be the first person to say, Corey, this looks good, and I'm really happy that you decided to reveal your 2018 race suit here on this show. I know that you want to overshadow all of Ryan Litteral's announcements,
Uh-huh.
but mission accomplished.
Well, as
You
soon
look
as we
very
had
good,
Literal on the
and-
show, I was like, God, I gotta. So my new thing is trying to find a way to one up. Oh, you're coming back. You're doing something cool this year. Wow, look at this spacesuit I just got.
Yeah, boom.
Boom. See ya. Drop the spacesuit.
Yeah,
bomb.
see
I think that's cool though because Forsberg did the X-wing pilot suit one
Yeah.
year. You come back and you do a Chewbacca suit, except for not actually a race suit. You're just gonna glue a bunch of man hair on your
No,
body.
I'm just gonna do I'm just gonna do Jabba the Hutt suit, and not wear a T-shirt.
That's a good call.
Oh man, this is
All right,
can't
well,
wait.
thanks for coming on the show, Ryan. We really appreciate everything you've enlightened us with. But good luck this year, and I'll talk to you soon.
Sick. Good. See you guys later.
Sick
He's
run.
like, I finally get to eat dinner.
No,
Yeah.
Ryan, you have some announcements to make, right? You're doing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got quite a few things going on this year.
Oh,
You have
boy.
I don't know where
You
to,
have 10
where should I
seconds, so
start?
hurry up.
Dude,
Well, first of all, tell us who the fuck are you? Why do we care, Ryan? What do you do?
My name's Ryan.
Yeah.
I've been drifting for a few years now.
hand me your
and,
notepad, Paco. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm going
I
to
don't
keep
know.
taking notes, Ryan. Keep telling me more about you.
Yeah, I drive for a living.
Nice,
So
drive
that's
for a
what-
That
that's
makes
what
you
I
a
can say,
professional
I guess.
driver.
What's your drifting experience and history? What are your accolades thus far?
I've been competing in Formula. I competed in Formula Drift Pro 2 from 3 years, other than last year. I took a year off from that. I acquired my Pro 1 license in 2016. Took a year off to do a bunch of promotional work and get my program up to where I needed it to be to come back into Formula Drift. Before that, I competed in World Drift Series for like 4 or 5 years. We did that whole stint. That was really fun.
That was in China, wasn't it?
That was in China, yeah. And yeah, I mean, just all around SoCal dude. Been in the Southern California drift scene since 2006 with Drift Buffet, Just Drift, you name it. Probably did it during that time frame. Yeah, that's pretty much it. As so far.
Oh yeah, and you are coming back to drifting this year.
I am. And you mean Formula Drift?
What?
Yeah. So you've been drifting, but your competition, you're coming back.
Yeah.
What's and are you doing Pro 2 or Pro 1?
I will be doing Pro 2 this year.
So give us the full scoop on that. Hold on. Give us the full scoop. So you took a year off. What has transpired over the year to finally make the return to come back? Like, what was this a part of your plan of taking the year off and just saying, you know what, it's time to go back? Or what kind of led up to this return, and why are you returning?
For me, obviously, like being a license holder, I definitely want to take advantage of that. And I didn't want to go forward with continuing to compete for this year because I just honestly the ducks weren't lining up for me. I didn't have what I needed to be successful.
You mean the
in
Pat
either
Goodens?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I just don't want to be. I don't want to be that guy. You know, I don't want to struggle. You know, I've definitely worked. I've been in this industry for quite some time, and I know what it's going to take to be successful. So, I think it was really smart. I kind of just winged it in 2017. Like I just wasn't getting anywhere. I was trying to get support to get my program going, and I just didn't have it to come out of my own pocket. So I got creative. I did have companies that were on board and believed in what I was doing. And I just went forward with that, and it was extremely successful for me, for myself and all the companies that hopped on board with me. So it was a really good year, and I had a lot of fun doing it. But that's what I wanted to do too, and I was forthcoming with Formula Drift before I took the break. It was early on, around this time, in 2017, and then they were gracious enough and were like, it's okay, just come back when you're ready within the following year. So, doing that allowed me to do exactly that, and to get with people and get aligned with companies that want to succeed and also want to see me succeed to go further. So it was a good move for sure. So doing that, I was able to work with Gazelle. That also, he kind of does a lot of things. He works at CoreWorks, and then he also does he's like operations manager for Gridlife. So running Gridlife, we had got to talking, and they were saying that they were looking for a new driver for their car. So I told them that I was interested in the position, and they flew me out. We did like a test day, and everyone got along great, and we made the decision there.
That's awesome. Where's CoreWorks based from?
CoreWorks is based out of Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So hold on. Let's go back. So you went out, and where did you test their 350Z at?
In Atlanta,
Okay.
at Linear.
Which is the cool thing about this is you're pinned as the RB dude, Ryan S14 RB dude, and he just drove out to Atlanta, or flew out to Atlanta and drove a LS powered 350Z.
Yeah.
How much did you hate the LS? Go ahead and tell us.
I actually didn't hit it at all. I've driven like so many different setups. Like even before, like originally, first car was like single cam KA. Then I got an R33 GTS, and I drove that for a few years. And then when I was building that, I got a 86 Corolla GTS that I was driving for a while. So like 480 GE. I had a high comp red top in there, and then the Skyline was taking a little bit longer, and I got kind of discouraged. That's why I kind of took a break from drifting, like trying to pursue like through Pro-Am or anything like that. And I put the Corolla together, put a 20 valve in it, a bunch of suspension modifications, and then I just kept driving that. And then, obviously, ultimately, I built this RB powered S14. And the reason why I stuck with RB is because I was so deep into it when I was building the Skyline that, I mean, this is before like all the hype of like Jay-Z or whatnot. So I was just kind of like stuck with it. So I just made the best of it and just made it work. So, I mean, and obviously I'm a big fan of the platform, and I've come really far with it. And, you know, it works really well for me. But driving the V8 car takes a lot of work out of the car. You don't have to be so, like I used to race motocross. So it's kind of like a big jump from like when two strokes were getting basically taken over by the four strokes. And when you ride like a 125 two-stroke, you have to like slip the clutch a lot to keep it within the power band, as opposed to a four-stroke where you can kind of just leave it in one gear and lug it around. So the V8 is definitely, I don't want to call it lazy, but it's just more, it's just, you don't have to work as hard. So you can concentrate on just being consistent. Not saying you're not consistent driving a turbo car, but there's just more work that goes into it to compete with some of those guys. Like, it was funny, I drove against Kevin Lawrence in that Z at Lanier because he had made the trek up as well. And I could hear as much work as he was doing, and then he was like throwing a lot of angle in front of me, and it was just like, oh, well, I have a V8, so I can just sit back here on the e-brake and just like wait for you to do your thing and just throttle into it. So it's a lot easier.
And so, and before that, driving an RB car, what would you be doing if you were chasing in that? In comparison to V8?
Just a lot of clutch work. I'm still like pretty like a driver. I try to leave my car in is one gear as long as possible. So like third gear for me is like a really good sweet spot where I can play with wheel speed enough in my clutch work to stay in the RPM range and stay accurate where I'm like playing with traction to stay on them. I would just have to just be more aggressive with the clutch to stay in the power band. You don't have the displacement to stay in the spool range like a V8 car. You just like, you know, just roll into it. But you can't do that with the inline six.
What RB model were you running in S14 and how much power was it making?
It's an RB25 Series 2, stock stroke, stock bore, still even hydraulic lifter, but it has fully forged bottom end. It's got like Super Tech valves and retainers. And that's, it made about, on high when I was running it in FD, and if I, like when I did Long Beach earlier in 2017 for the Super Drift, I was around 750 at 33 PSI. And for the rest of the season, I was probably around, I just ran it off the wastegate, so I was probably around 600, 580, 600, somewhere around there.
And what is the power difference going to the Z with the LS? And what model LS is in it?
It's a Mass Motorsports 418 stroker. When I drove it, it was NA, and that was around 600. But now they're going to be installing a Vortec charger on it, and should make minimum 800 all the way up to 1200.
Bitchin'.
But you're putting that much power, but you're going on Pro 2.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan, would you say that's kind of where the direction of competition is going now, is still finding that 850 horsepower range and being consistent? Or where do you feel Pro 2 competition is going to be at?
I mean, for me, I'm a driver that really likes to put a lot of throttle into it. So, I mean, I haven't personally driven a car like 1200 horsepower, but I mean, I'm more than confident that I can do that. But I don't think you need to run it at 1200. I just think it would probably be a little bit too throttle happy, I would say. I think 800 is more than efficient, even in Pro 1. And 8 to 900, I would say.
And so the theory is behind, obviously, adding more power, because everybody kind of complains about this crazy power war that has been going on supposedly for so long. But the advantage to it is you can actually dial in way more grip to the car. And now you have a tire rule that you have to run a 255 40 or 255 35. That's still the big advantage there, is trying to dial in as much grip and have enough power to still keep the car going forward with that much grip dialed in. And I'm sure some of you guys that are listening, or even some of you guys, is, you know, how difficult is it to drive a car that has too much grip into it with not enough power? You know what I mean?
Right.
And
how do you feel about the tire rolls? We haven't really gotten to talk to a Pro 2 dude about it too thoroughly until recently. What's your input on the new tire legislation?
I think it's cool. I was watching. I mean, obviously that rule wasn't implemented when I competed. So, but I mean, you know, Mark Landerville won the championship in 2016, and he was on a 255. I know that he was extremely light, and he was extremely fast. He was on a better tire than I was at that time. Just even like straight line traction down the straight in Arizona, he just took off on me. I just couldn't get traction down the straight. But I think it definitely, from the battles that I watched last year, I definitely see it leveling the playing field a lot. You can't just build, you know, when you have, I mean, it's physics. You have a 295 40 with 1,000 horsepower, it's going to take off on a guy that has 700 and a 265.
Right.
Like, no way around it. It's for sure. So I think keeping the cars at like 2,900 pounds, which I believe it is, in a 255 is a good measure to keep everyone in check. So I think it's a good thing.
So
And what brand do you intend to run next year?
I believe, and again, so like the whole deal with CoverWorks, I am the driver. So Greg handles all of like the sponsorship things, and he's basically our team representative. Kerry Brown is obviously the team owner and head fabricator. That's his car. He's building it. So I don't have anything to do with any type of sponsorships or contracts or anything like that. But I believe that we will be on Nexons for next year or for this year.
You heard it first.
Well, it's either them or Achilles. You know, that's
still, yeah.
Well, you know, it's funny. It's funny how he worded that because he is so tied in with federal. He's the federal guy, and he brings up a good point. He has two different entities now, right? He has two entities. You have the entity which is Ryan Litteral, and then you have the entity which is CoreWorks Driver by Ryan Litteral. They're actually two different things.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
And what's the advantage of that? What's the kind of idea or the purpose behind that?
For me, I'm just trying to make the most of every opportunity that's presented against me. Like I had a really successful year this past year in 2017, where it's opened up more doors of opportunity for me to continue on that path with Ryan Litteral Racing and the S14. So I'm not going to say no to either or. I want to do everything.
Yep.
So for me, you know, and I love the guys over at CoWorks, and I think it's a really good opportunity. I mean, arrive and drive programs are just non-existent nowadays, and for me to turn my back on that, I feel like really not the smartest thing.
Yeah.
So
Did you say
I want to do everything?
Did you say which vehicle you're running in 2018 already?
I'll be driving the CoWorks 350Z.
Hey,
for Pro 2, and then I will be doing all the lifestyle stuff that I did in 2017 with the S14, with Low Style Heroes, Gridlife, Street Driven, some other stuff that we got planned as well. And then I'm also working with Hoonigan on a new series that we will be creating some really fun content with.
That's interesting. Can you tell us a little bit about that content you're going to be creating?
I can't publicly discuss too much about it, but there will be like off-site locations of some really exciting driving, and it'll be 6 to 8 episodes, and I believe that we will have the first episode aired probably by March.
Oh, nice.
Sweet.
Oh,
Dude,
congrats, dude.
Yeah, that's huge. So
Thank you.
no,
I think that's a good example of a driver that takes a year off from Formula Drift and work on his program, like to come back with something bigger. You know, like all the party drifting that you did, it wasn't just for partying. You know, you're also like creating
was developing the Ryan Litteral
relationships.
brand.
Exactly. So I mean, yeah, like I think that's a good model to follow. Would you agree, Corey?
No, I absolutely. You know, I think that's kind of the whole idea, and it works out that way for a particular reason.
Nice. So what? Are the guys still there?
Yeah.
It got a little quiet for a reason.
Well, yeah, it's letting you have a question. Can I have more questions then?
Please.
Dope. So you're going to be running the LS motor in that CoreWorks 350Z?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think Sam missed a little bit of our earlier conversation.
No, I heard that. I didn't know that was a confirmed car
Oh,
for the
okay.
2018 series, though.
It's called journalism.
And what? I'm trying to think. What are the rounds that Pro 2 is running? I don't have it in front of me right now. What do you?
I believe it's Atlanta, St. Louis, Texas, and Las Vegas. I believe that is the schedule.
St.
So out
Louis
of
is
these
a new.
tracks before, you've only ran Atlanta,
Texas.
Yeah. But St. Louis and Vegas would be new for you, I imagine, right?
Yeah, I've ran different Vegas tracks through Nick Dazon series Vegas Drift back in the day, but I haven't ran their specific track that they've done. Hopefully it's something nobody else has done either.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to like have something new and exciting and entertaining.
Yeah, how do you feel about the whole Vegas being the new final round versus Irwindale?
Is that going to be just for this year, or are they going to go back to Irwindale next year,
Well,
or what are they going to do?
Well, it sounds like everything's still up in the air, and of course, me and AEM Intakes and Forsberg made that video about the maybe last Irwindale. We're not sure though, but
But probably.
but probably. But yeah, well, I guess no one's really sure right now. But have you? I imagine you've drifted Irwindale multiple times, being a California native. What do you think about the losing it as a track? Probably.
I want them to bulldoze that place.
You want it down. All right.
I want them to bulldoze it. Put that strip mall. I would go to that mall every day out of principle.
Get shoes.
Like, yeah, this is where I crashed, and it'll never take my car ever again. Enjoy my Slurpee.
What was the incident there?
Well, do you know what's funny is the response we got when we posted that news was, can we just let this thing go already? I think
Like, a
people
lot
are
of people was
kind
sour
of like,
about it.
everybody's kind of over it. Like, dude, we've been waiting for this day.
But I
We're
think
waiting
But it's
for
kind of like a shitty abusive relationship. That,
Yeah.
like, the girlfriend keeps on breaking up with you, and then she keeps on being like, you know what, I need some space. I don't think this is gonna work out between us. And like all right, fine.
People
I
just
accept
felt
that it's
cheated.
over. And then she comes back. She's like, look, baby, you know you can't leave me. It's gonna be good for you. One more year of messing around.
and it's been like that for 5 years. This terrible.
You know, it's kind of like that movie 500 Days of Summer, and summer is definitely Irwindale,
Oh,
never going away.
and everybody else is.
that's Corey's favorite movie, by the way.
Yeah, I've
That's
never
cool.
never seen in my
Right
life.
Everyone
Is that
burned a
good,
few
huh?
rubbers in there.
So,
So you want Irwindale to be bulldozed and burned down? You said because of an accident there, it totaled one of your.
It's a total joke. No. It was like something that happened. It was something that happened. It was like right before Irwindale this year. I did like the Thursday night drift, and I just had too much grip in my car and just tagged it ever so slightly. Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's exciting, and I think it's a new twist and spin on the series, which I think is really cool. I mean, they got rid of Canada, and now they're implementing 2 new tracks into the series, which I'm pretty confident that hasn't been done for some time now. So I think it's cool. I think it's good, and I think especially in Las Vegas for the end season, I think it's a good place for you and the rest of the crew members to go out and just have like a celebratory congratulations to yourselves for making it that far in the year.
Yeah,
that you wouldn't be able to get in LA.
Assuming I get to go there, I'm excited to see the Saturday night shenanigans that go down after the season's over and everyone can kind of cut loose in Las Vegas.
For sure. I think that's a really fun way to end it on a positive note, no matter where you finish off. I think that's really cool.
I think it would be cool if, like, in a very Vegas way, like, they will allow the drivers and everybody on pits and the track to be drinking, like, openly drinking. With, like, everybody has, like the big plastic glasses and the beads.
Well, you get the yard. Yeah,
the
you're talking about
yard.
You do
And,
a
like,
3-foot tall glass, but the fun part is that you're allowed to start drinking after top 16.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Drivers and crew alike.
And we can have, the the ladies giving you the business cards with the photos of Ken Gushi and other, like
People you
with-
can rent for the night.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can rent Ken Gushi for the night. That'll be fun for a lot of
That'd be
people. I
super.
think.
That'd be super cool.
They actually do that card during SEMA. They did like a Gengushi Vegas card
Nice.
with his whole photo with showing these apps. It looked super legit. That was
Yeah,
sold.
and the Ken Gushi kissing booth. That was pretty cool.
That was
didn't know that one.
How many times did you go in there that day, Sam?
Oh man. Well, let's just say that I lost a lot of money in Vegas, and it wasn't from betting. I mean, no, it's kind of gambling in a way that I thought that if I paid for enough kissing booth with Ken Gushi tokens, that maybe I would win his heart. But
Right.
apparently, all we won is some chapped lips and a lot of hurt feelings.
Nice.
Well, that's it. Just like what we're experiencing with Irwindale.
Nice.
Actually, they ran Formula Drift Vegas before. I think
A while
it was
ago.
2012 is when they last ran Formula Drift Vegas. But they did it like at the
different
end of
track and all that,
summer.
right?
And it was literally
Hot.
1,000 degrees. It was miserable. So
Oh.
it was kind of nice that they
A lot of
pushed
people
it.
were flipping over in those tires.
Yep, Jim Guthrie flipped. Odie crashed super hard. I remember watching Odie,
Yeah,
like
that's
literally.
what he said. He had concussed.
Oh yeah, he crashed, and I remember him like hopping out of the car and then throwing up on the ground. And then,
Oh, shit.
Yeah, like Odie took a solid hit there. But yeah, it was a parking lot event. But this year won't be a parking lot event. It sounds like it's going to be in the bull ring.
I mean, inside the bowl.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a banked oval, and
Nice.
it sounds like they have to still repave the infield to make kind of like a mini road course on the infield. So I think that's kind of the big holdup with Vegas right now. Is a lot of development to the track still needs to happen to even compete there? Because right now you can't run the FD course because the paving's not.
They still have the rest of the year, I guess, to get all
Yeah,
that done.
hopefully.
So there's time. And if not, I mean, there's always Irwindale.
Also, actually, you know what? I was just on your Instagram before we called you. What's happening to the S14? It looks like it's down to nothing right now.
Yeah, we're just. I was talking with Paco on the phone. He's gonna be so generous and hook your boy up with some FRP rear quarter panels and a nice new doof kit. So the car's gonna get a full once over, and it's gonna look really, really, really snazzy, real snazzy. So
it's gonna look
I'm excited.
Sick, bro.
Dude, I wish you.
Thank you, Paco.
I wish you'd give out
Classic
more 2F.
Paco.
I know. I wish Paco would just give out more 2F kits. Actually, if you guys can go to Tofu Drift Fan and ask for free 2F kits, and you'll get any kit you want for free. So
Just
head over to their Instagram and ask for kits. And
go to a 2F Performance instead.
Yeah.
But
No, I mean that's what he's always said is that you just what you want to do is send just no explanation for your assets or what you can offer in return
Actually-
for sponsorship. Just be like, hey dude, what's up? I'm here giving out free body kits. I would like one. No questions asked.
Actually, I have a very. I mean, I hope the camera can see it, but this is an email I got from somebody asking for sponsorship.
Can you read it real quick?
It literally says,
Read it. Okay, let's hear it.
"Hello, are you guys looking to sponsor anybody? If you have an interest in helping my build this year, I can provide details on my car. Thanks. No name,
2 kits,
no photos. That's
2 kits,
it. And you know
done.
what? Yeah, he got me.
He
2
got you
kids,
2
2
kits.
freaking. That's what should. I mean, is this you, Ryan?
Yeah, Ryan sent that. That was
That's-
Ryan's proposal.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, that's
For
why.
sure.
He adds a lot of detail.
Dude, that was like super professional.
Yeah, it
like
was-
this is how you get sponsors for sure.
We should do a segment of what emails does Paco get for sponsorship.
Oh, I got some guy. I think it was probably from China,
Really?
and I mean he was like obviously trying to be very very nice and polite, but it was pretty hilarious. Like the way it was spelled, like extremely like hello dear good sir.
Oh, he's been super.
Yeah,
he's
it was
just-
super
did-
polite, but.
Did you
But-
get like shy and like? Did you blush a little bit? It's like, wow, this guy's super.
I
nice.
think I got a little kawaii. And I'm
Oh,
like,
did you?
"Konnichiwa." So, anyways,
nice.
but no, like for real, like I mean, I think Ryan, especially after the last 2 Gridlifes,
Yeah.
it's just like one of the cars that looked the most amazingly, almost doing backwards entries.
Oh yeah, he was going wild. That
It was insane. And then you see like the onboard camera, and he's like literally like just facing backwards almost while he's entering the corners. I just thought it was like, super legit, very stylish driver. I lost the cable for my for my headphone. And so yeah, dude, we're super happy to work with you.
Dude, I'm really excited to work with you as well. So I really appreciate the opportunity, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
All right, stop jerking each other
Hey,
off. Let's talk about some drifting.
we're almost done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, super happy with you and like glad to
Well,
see
do you know
back.
what's funny? Okay, so I'll tell you this. This is just an outsider listening to you guys make out for a second here. It's interesting that Paco says after watching you Gridlife kind of seals the deal. It obviously you have a couple years of FD underneath your belt, but Paco doesn't bring attention to that. It was more of what he's seen at Gridlife that made it more appealing. That's kind of an interesting outsider picking up on your guys' conversation.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of being like, because I met him and I know him,
Right.
like I also know his style, his commitment. Dude, everybody's partying, and Ryan is thrashing on his car, trying to get it back together to go back and drive again. Just commitment. He makes it look good. Even when he goes on other footage, when he does other kind of content, I mean, he always seems to be very graceful with his sponsors and all that. So he's got a good
Very
presence.
graceful.
Very graceful. He's got a good presence.
I'm like a gazelle.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's so funny because Ryan, maybe you can relate to this because you may see a lot of people, or you maybe even seen some proposals before. Because people are like, "Hey, man, I run in Formula Drift," or "Hey, I run in this series. Hook me up with parts because I'm a professional, semi-professional." How effective is that? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Can you repeat it? Can you repeat that question?
So
You kinda cut out for a second.
listening to you and Paco talk a little bit, Paco's elaborating on why it's valuable to invest in Ryan.
Right.
To seeing the dedication, seeing the content, seeing the deliverables that Ryan Litteral Racing is providing to the sponsors, how well he's on camera, how he's been managing his sponsors for 2 months. Comparing that to people saying, "Hey, I can't get sponsors, and this is my proposal," and literally it's something along the lines of, "Hey, I run this series, be a part of the series with me." Boom. The deliverables
Right.
aren't there. It's a much different thing. So really what I'm getting at is looking at what it takes to get a deal or get a sponsored deal. Hearing it from Paco was kind of interesting because we never had a dialogue really between driver and sponsor on the show. But it was hearing what he initially said, what made him interested in your program, and it wasn't a proposal that said, hey, I compete in X.
Yeah, I mean, it's the whole, you got to have the whole package. You know, it isn't necessarily contingent on your podium results. You know, sponsors, there's a lot of things that happen even outside of the race day. I think it's one of those where you're only as good as your last race. But if you can continue to provide content and to create and procure a presence at any place that you go to, and as long as you're getting the products out there and doing your end of being a professional, I think that's what it's all about. That's what we're into now with media and metrics and numbers. It's just about, you know, the quality and longevity of your work. You know, I only did 6 events last year, but I was able to generate and create content that was everlasting for the entire year.
And I think that reinforces the how important it is to how you present yourself as opposed or to like actually winning. What is the highest you finished on so far in Formula Drift?
I believe I got third in Atlanta in 2016.
And that's a third podium. And what about like overall?
Overall, I think I got fifth.
So
overall,
third
for
podium,
2016.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, like to a lot of people will be like, oh, you know, like he's not a successful professional driver.
Who said that?
I don't know anybody. I don't know.
I will fucking fight whoever says that about him.
Sam's got a knife. Be careful. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, like
say that, but I mean, I'm happy with it.
Exactly.
The companies that work with me are happy with it too. So
all right, let me elaborate on kind of what Paco was saying.
Yeah, help me out, Corey.
Let me translate to that. I think Paco's leveraging success.
Cut him.
Yeah, leveraging a success based off performance on the racetrack when that's not what it is anymore. I think that's what Paco's saying. So yes, you finished third.
I wouldn't say that isn't the thing anymore. There's definitely
it's a portion. It's a portion of the puzzle.
It's completely different.
Yep.
They're two completely different things. Formula Drift and outside promotional work or grassroots stuff, it is completely two different animals. And I'm not saying one is better than the other. They're just completely different paths.
Absolutely.
And I think if you can cross in between those paths and, you know, you have your professional side where you're competing, because that is still like an extremely tough discipline to master. You know, you're driving with the best guys in the world. There's thousands of people in the stands. You know, there's a lot of dedication, commitment that goes into running Formula Drift.
Yep.
That's hands down. And there's no, what I did doesn't, I mean, I still have to do a lot of work to get to an event. You're still under contracts to make appearances. So you can't just be like, oh, well, like I blew, we put together a new motor, you know, and we finished it a week before Gridlife Atlanta, and I had a freak accident and catastrophic failure with the motor. I had to like take the old block, sand that down, find a new cylinder head, build a new head, and slap it together, and, you know, take it to my tuner and get back out there. I mean, that was within 3 days, and then we had to hit the road. And then like injured myself because I was overworking. So I mean, like, it's still hard to do, but the level of commitment that it takes to be successful in Formula D is, you know, it's no joke. It's full commitment for sure.
Yeah, and one of I was gonna say one of our people in the live Facebook chat, Garrett, had brought this up, and definitely something we've been talking about with just about everyone that's been on the show lately is about Pro-Am. Do you think that the current Pro-Am environment is conducive to training for FD Pro 2 and beyond, or would you change it anyway?
I haven't ran Pro-Am for some years. I think the last time I judged was in 2015, I believe. It was 2015, 2016 with Just Drift. But to be honest, I think, and I can't say with who runs East Coast Pro-Am, I don't really follow it too much, but I would say that Nick Dazan at Vegas Drift is definitely doing it right because he's implementing the chicane. And I think that the guidelines are pretty similar to FD steps. So I think depending on who you run with and how organizers want to build it and design it is where it's at. So I would say that. But I mean, and again, like that with that series, like it requires you to travel to different states. So I think that somewhat prepares you for what you're going to need to do. But ultimately, I don't think there's anything that can really replicate the level of commitment until you actually go out and do it.
Right.
I don't think there's anything else that could replicate that
And
to prepare someone, unfortunately.
yeah, no, that's an interesting point. And what is that would be difficult to replicate? What?
I mean, you got to think about it. Like, you know, living here in California, my first Pro 2 event, I went all the way to Florida,
Right.
with a car that we had just finished, and you know, it's like you get the blues. I drove 3,000 miles. My truck blew up right before I had to go out. I had to borrow a truck from somebody. And then, you know, I had to drive in a borrowed truck, and then I went out there and I didn't even do 2 laps because I grenaded 2 transmissions on every lap that I went on. So I drove 10,000 miles for a car show, you know. So if you're used to like going to like a Pro-Am series, you know, most people spend what, 15 to 20 grand on a Pro-Am series to do everything and do all the rounds of tires and fuel and expenses and crew and all that. Like I spent that like probably in a month.
Right, going to one event.
You know,
Well, that's
so get
you know
used
what I
to
mean?
disappointment.
and you know that's a great point that you bring up
Absolutely.
too. That's a great point you bring up too. It's like, yeah, you travel, you know, 3,000 miles to go compete in Florida or Atlanta, and it's like you don't have the resources as well that you can't train for. It's not like you can call up your buddy down the shop or down the street saying, "Hey man, I need a
Exactly.
transmission like right now. I need axles right now." You don't have that luxury of having all those resources in one spot, which you can't prepare for.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Like here, when I ran Pro-Am here in California, if I broke anything, dude, like I could probably find any part here that I would need here in Southern California within an hour, if that. And I would have it, and I could go and get it. I can't do that in Florida or in
St. Louis,
you know, North
or
Carolina
Texas.
or wherever that you are, that you don't have a familiar. It just wouldn't be as accessible. I wouldn't say. I got lucky in Florida because Dan Brockett, he's such a doll. He let me get a spare transmission, and we all know that it was great that year because I always knew that he had spare RB parts. He was my boy.
Right. Yeah, as being the only other RB guy that I can think of out there at that time.
Yeah. During that time, I know Kevin runs his
Lawrence.
too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
K Lolo.
But we always ask the RB guys this. Well, what makes the RB special to you? And I know most people, at least the Zeep guys on the internet, is that the JZ is a better motor than the RB. What do you think about that? Why do you choose RB?
Like I had mentioned before, it was just kind of a path that I kind of just got like in the groove of. I've always just like been like a big Skyline fan, even as a kid, and I just like them. They just sound different, and I think they run really well. We've done a really good job. Andrew Molina at Animal built me like a really solid motor. So I mean, it's still running for 4 years. I've beat the living crap out of that thing. So I mean, I've seen guys pull more 2JZs out than my RB. So I don't know
it sounds
what to say
like
about that.
the transmission is the weak part on yours in the past, at least.
Yeah. I got a dog box after that, and then I've had no problems with that either. I've had the same tranny in my car for like the past 3 years, and I gave it a little refresh this past year. Just changed.
You got a dog box.
Some dog rings.
You got a dog box. Just start breaking everything else.
No, actually, no, not even.
Nice.
The diff is still in the car. I pulled the diff. I thought I broke the diff at Winter Jam, but no, I broke the outer CVs on the axles. But that's been in there for 4 years too.
And what diff are you running?
Engine drivetrain's been really good on that car.
Yeah, what diff are you running?
GTR.
Oh, is that like similar to any other diffs, or is it very?
It's still an R2. It's still an R200. It's
Okay.
just a beefier version. You go from like that's why a lot of people like want to switch. Like, oh, I'll just run a 350Z diff, but like that's only half your problem. The problem that I was having, especially breaking axles, is usually at the hub. So you know, from a 350Z or a 240SX, you're still at a 29 spline output shaft that is into the hub. But when you go to R32 GTR, 33 GTR, Z32 twin turbo, Q45, that's a 32 spline axle. And that is a note with the 6-bolt flange at the end to the stub shaft. And that is like a huge increase in strength. Like you could feel it. Each one of those axles is probably 15 to 20 pounds per axle.
Ryan Litteral.
So you can whoop them for sure.
Ryan Litteral
Give him a good beating.
dropping
like it owes
bombs
you
of
money.
knowledge. Right there.
What can you pick up one of those diffs for? Cost-wise,
It depends on where you get it. I got mine through a friend, through a homie. So I bought the pumpkin for like $500, and then I got a Cause 2A in there, which I paid for, which was like $1,200. So
Right.
yeah,
2-way.
But I mean, your best bet would probably be to find like a whole complete R32 GTR rear subframe, and then that way you could just take the hubs, the axles, and the diff, and you just got to trim the diff a little bit, and it'll go right into a 14 subframe.
Well, see, that's interesting. Why wasn't the investment for a Winners? Is it just because the
Winners isn't a cure-all at all. I mean, Osmo doesn't run a Winners either, because you got to think with the Winners, there's parasitic drain on the drivetrain, so you actually lose power and torque under that.
How much do you
And-
say?
and the
I've heard that
amount-
before, but
How much would I say? Supposedly, I'd heard it's anywhere from 10 to 20%.
Well, I'll
shit,
tell you
that's
this also.
yeah.
I'll tell you this also. It's something that I ran into is when I was driving the Z, even like in Texas this year, is you damage the rear subframe for something that requires a Winners. The whole the fabrication work is you would have to have a spare modified subframe ready
Right.
for a Winners. When in this case, would you just run the stock subframe and just throw the diff in?
You can do like Odi Boxes
Right.
and go find one in the middle of nowhere for just get one.
Well,
Right.
But that is
If you're doing FD though, you should have a spare subframe that's fully dressed and ready to be put in your car, regardless of
right,
what setup that you run.
absolutely. But the thing is you go to MA Motorsports or MA Performance, those dudes out in Maryland, which Forsberg used to work with, and now they're kind of doing their thing. You have to buy a
Right.
subframe to them, or a competitor subframe. Even if it's not MA, you're spending about $1,000 to $1,200 for a subframe that's modified.
Oh, for sure.
So
For sure. If you
so-
don't know how to do the work yourself, for sure.
yeah, and then if you're not a fabricator, which means you'd have to have it jigged up, everything there. Which you look at the cost of something like that, or you buy a pre-made one for $1,200.
Yeah.
In this case, you can get a subframe now for
Plus a Winter's diff, which is also. Like
I mean,
another-
a Winners is anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000.
yeah.
You know what
You
I
know,
mean?
for the unit is what, $3,300. Axles are what, another $1,500 plus the subframe that you'd said. You know, it adds up quick.
Yeah,
for
so you're
sure.
looking at running like you said, $7,000 to have a Winners in your car,
You know how many?
not including a spare.
And then you should have two.
yeah,
You should have a spare.
Dude,
You
I
know,
I could buy 7 Lexus SE 400s
Jesus.
for one
one
Winters.
Winners,
Yeah,
yep.
compared to the one I just bought. Yeah.
or like 25 Miatas.
Oh, dude, you kidding?
There you go.
Imagine how much is that in Aztecs?
When you think about it in shitty Paco cars terms, you can buy
Yeah,
a
it's
lot of
really-
shitty Paco cars.
really expensive.
Yeah, many of them.
Yeah, that's all a good point, because I wasn't running a Winners in my car. I was kind of going down the same road. I had actually 350Z diff that I was putting in, and it was kind of for that exact reason. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna be out $1,200 to $1,400 for the modifying the subframe, and I have to get
Right.
another one. There's another 14, so I'm $3,000 just in subframes roughly, and then it's
Yep.
getting the drive shaft shop axles, and then
Yep.
it's getting the drive shaft itself. And then it's getting I looked at it and I was like, that's
Yeah.
not real. That's not real. And even Turek runs he doesn't run a.
He had like a Supra diff.
He was running, I believe, he was running a super diff in FR.
Yeah,
and a lot of people.
Paul, JTP doesn't run one either. That's like a 9-inch rear end.
Yeah, so even taking money out of it, it's like you can get those systems to work affordably and be able to have a spare. Because to be honest with you, I'd much rather run that setup than one good Winners.
Yeah. I mean, I've never personally worked with one. The Cobra Works car has a Winners in it, and they have
Yeah.
a spare and spare axles and everything. So I'm curious to see how beneficial it actually is, of how much we're actually going to change gear ratios from track to track. I would say when I ran Pro 2, there was only really one track, and that's Texas, that I would really need to re-gear my car for.
Right.
Because it just seemed like my car for like the past 2 years, because that's when the first year that we did it was they ran it the other way, that you'd like come down the hill essentially.
Right.
But from the podcast, it doesn't really justify that is actually a pretty steep little grade that comes out of that hairpin
Right.
coming, or hairpin or sweeper, whatever you want to call it, coming up. That's actually a pretty steep little grade. And
Where are you
that's
talking?
guys at V8s. Like when if you start at Texas,
Right.
you
Yeah.
take off, you do the sweeper
Yeah.
or the right hander, and then you go up that crest
Right.
where everyone throws like backwards, and then they'll switch
Yeah.
into the wall.
I guess
That's
there is
actually a
some
pretty
elevation
tall.
there.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty steep little incline.
It's funny.
And
I've
my
really
car-
never noticed that from a driving perspective. Like from a shooting video of the track perspective, I always realize that like you're a lot lower when you're out in that field shooting up at the track. But I never really considered driving and how that would affect you.
Yeah, because it's banked coming out of that corner, and then it creeps up. So for whatever reason, man, it was like the past 2 years, like my car was just out of gear and it would just shut. I couldn't really get it into the power range that I wanted to get it into with the current gearing in my car. I think if I went to a shorter gear ratio in the back would definitely alleviate that problem. But I'm curious to see how beneficial that
Right.
setup really is, if it's really worth the extra $4,000 in
Right.
investment.
And don't
to
get
be
me
able
wrong,
just to pop
I
the back cover and put it in, or just change your diff out. I don't know.
Right. And don't get me wrong, I love the flexibility of the winners. Like, I love the fact in 8 minutes I could put a new gear stack in there. Like, that's the best thing in the world. It is, because you can waste so much time just fine tuning it. And you'll see dudes in the pits change 5 sets in a day, in a test day, going through 5 different gear sets. But it's like,
For sure.
you know what I mean? And so you have that convenience, but it's just, you got to see what's going to most benefit yourself and the team. And if it's having a spare, which, once again, without a spare and you do something to it, you're going to be out of competition, right? So
You should always have a spare.
Always have
If
a
you don't have
spare.
spares, you shouldn't be there.
Absolutely, man. 100%.
Yes, Paco, do you have something to say?
Paco just gave that.
No, actually, just no, actually, before we go on a different topic, we just want to clarify earlier when I was saying about you going not having like done like a super ultra successful like podiums and stuff like that on FD. I was like trying
Paco,
to
stop picking on him,
just
dude.
listen. I was like just trying to say like a comparison like with Ryan Turk, like same case, he's probably
He's not successful. He sucks.
there you go.
It's all. Go ahead, Paco.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, he's a successful driver.
It
He's
just
probably
depends
the
on
most-
what your definition
exactly.
of success
Well, but
is.
successful as in like he's known, he gets deals, he gets invited to drive places, etc., etc., etc. So it was just that. I was just trying to make comparison where like Ryan is doing the right thing, because I
Well,
know it just seems like a lot of people is thinking negatively.
Then why don't you just ask
from what I
this,
was saying.
Ryan? What do you believe is success in motorsports?
For me, I mean, it's all in what you really want to do with it. For me, I love to drive, and I know there's guys like Mad Mike, Turek, Forrest, JTP. These guys just they love to drive,
Right.
and I think being able to have the opportunity to make a living doing this in any which way or capacity is success.
Absolutely.
And I would drive anywhere in the world that someone wanted me to drive in whatever car that I needed to drive. I just love it. And I think everybody else too. And I think that's why everybody that follows the sport and is involved in the sport is because like their love for it, their passion.
Would you say that the most successful driver would be the one who drives a lot and he doesn't pay off his pocket to do all
For
the
sure.
driving?
For sure. I mean, you're a professional in a professional series. The definition of profession is you get paid for your service.
Yep.
Do you know, I was listening to another podcast actually, and so I listened to.
Wait,
actually, I listened. Yeah,
whose podcast?
I'm not going to say it, but I listened to a lot of podcasts, and
Joe
it was
Rogan.
about sports in general, right?
Oh.
And
This is the only one. This is the only podcast that I listen to.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying, Ryan. Thank you.
Well, no, because like the thing
You're
is,
the
is-
only drifter that I watch.
No, because it's interesting facts, because the what I was listening to is people talking about sports in general and how to be a successful athlete, and what talks about being a successful athlete. And it's one thing that they mentioned was a lot of these teams or marketing companies or companies just in general that invest in the sport, what they look at now supposedly first is your longevity in the sport, which is a really interesting fact. Is they will actually, rather than looking at statistics, they look at longevity, because they can guarantee that you may or may not go anywhere. So it's easier to invest into somebody that's already been in the sport and have that longevity involved with it, versus some guy coming in and out 1 year. There's no credit to what he's actually planning on doing or have been
That's a
doing.
very interesting way of
Corey,
of
real
putting
quick
it.
though, isn't it true that you don't have a lot of sponsors because they noticed your shortgevity?
But that's the thing, is what's considered longevity. It's because if I use myself for example, even though I may not be on the track, I'm still invested into the sport probably more than most people
Well,
in some
what-
degree.
you-
And that's the thing,
That's what
is
you do
the
for a living,
involvement. And
literally.
so it's figuring out a way to be invested in some degree. And you look at some athletes as sport anchors, right? You look at some athletes going as sport, they're creating that longevity of being in that sport or on that program. And that's another thing to look at as, you look at anybody or any athlete that's like, all right, my career is over, I'm done. Or there's other avenues that you can go on to still be invested, where there's still value in what you do.
Absolutely. It's all in how you represent yourself and how much you can get yourself out there and how receptive that work is.
So that kind of goes back to what Paco was saying.
Yeah.
What's the definition of success? I think everybody kind of has their own. Obviously, winning
For
is
sure.
going to be one of them. Longevity may be another, or just driving with your friends, or making like. There's so many definitions of that.
I just think there's a lot of drivers that themselves don't consider themselves successful, even though they have presence and everybody knows them. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's their personal
Exactly,
opinion. Right.
and that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, sometimes a driver or somebody who's been involved in the series, their opinion kind of like becomes like fact. Like somebody who doesn't drive anymore and says like, yeah, it was just a waste of time and all that. It seems like it could have been damaging, like to the professional, not necessarily professional, but like, because even people who drift just grassroots events, they just get tired of it, or just they spend a lot of money, or they didn't like it, and they were liked by a lot of people, and they just go and saying like, yeah, I don't do it anymore, I hate it, blah blah blah. I don't know. I mean, I just think like people,
realistically, whose fault is that?
Exactly. Yeah,
Or you could be like me, and no matter how successful no matter how much success you obtain, you could always just feel like a failure at something. And that's what's important. Is as long as you're upset about some aspect of your life, then success is always going to be far away.
I mean, that's why there's 30. That's why there's 32 drivers on the field and 30,000 people in the stands.
Right.
If it was easy, everybody would do it. So it's a lot of dedication. I think to be able to do it and have the opportunity to do it in any which way or form is success.
Right.
And it's really cool. Yeah.
And that goes back to my original slogan, Sam. Failure is always an option.
No.
I
what
think
if you just suck?
you got that.
Or what if you don't have money? Or what if you don't have hands, Corey?
Ooh.
Then what, you drive with your feet? Didn't you see that guy on
I said,
YouTube
like,
driving
guy
with his feet?
drifting with his feet.
There's
What if
always
you
a
don't
way
have
to get
feet?
around things.
What
Sam?
if you don't have feet or hands, Corey? Then what?
You have your friend driving, you co-pilot.
What if you can't? What if you don't have a mouth?
What if you don't have friends? What if you're just
Well,
like
that's the problem that we all have.
What if you're just like a dickhead? Nobody likes you.
That's what we all
Yeah.
have.
What if you're like me, Corey?
That's true, Sam. You're screwed. Sorry, buddy.
I'm
Give
just
up now.
Making videos.
Hey.
Ryan, so far, what can you tell about today's episode? Like, you think like we are on the right track with you? Or
Yeah,
like,
we're doing good.
Yeah,
Rate
no,
us.
you guys are doing good. We're covering all the
great.
bases here. It's good stuff.
Are you
I
keeping
like
this?
it.
Hey, hold on.
I like you guys. I like all three of you guys. So it's
Oh.
cool to just be able to hang out and chit chat.
Here, let's go
Usually,
back.
like you're a Paco fan or a Corey fan, or either way you hate me.
Yep.
But you like us all. That's cool.
Can we go
Yeah,
to
I
a
think you
segment?
guys are all cool. You guys all are been very nice and kind. To
Hey,
me,
can we go to
so
a segment
we're
to? It's a new segment called "How Much We Hate Sam's Videos." Ryan, how much you hate Sam's videos?
I actually really like Sam's videos, man. His interview, your interviews that you do with the drivers, like with Mad Mike and Pat, and like Pat threw you out of the car, and like I think that stuff's really funny. I think it's really cool.
Driver and driver.
Yep. Sorry, Sam. I don't think it's funny. You should delete the series.
I won't let you in my car, but I'll watch other people.
Oh.
Oh, sick burn.
Yep. Sorry, Sam. You're out. 2018. Sam's out. 2018. Hey, so
it's
what?
only funny. It's only funny until it happens to you, right?
I know.
Oh, Dave Chappelle just said that on his special a couple weeks ago.
I just watched that. It's pretty interesting. It
Yeah.
sounds like Dave Chappelle smoked like 30 packs of cigarettes a day.
Oh, he sounds
And
so
vapes.
weathered. He sounds
Yeah.
so weathered. His muscles are for sure it's synthol. With his-
He looked kind of buffed, actually.
He's yoked right now.
Yeah.
Ryan, speaking of yoked, you have this
It's,
yellow
the
color
term is
on. You
thick.
have this yellow color on the 350Z. Are you going to keep that same livery, or what are you guys doing
Speaking
with
of yoked, good transition, Corey.
it?
That's getting a new look. I think it's for sure gonna stay gold,
Okay.
and it'll have gold and black. My 14 will be a different color though.
Ooh.
It won't be black and gold anymore, unfortunately. It'll be released here in the next few weeks. The rendering, so
Wow.
it'll be exciting.
Who's
Oh,
doing
yeah,
the
also-
rendering? Who's doing the rendering?
Also,
Hold on.
Wait,
Hold on,
wait,
Sam.
wait, wait, wait.
I want to
Yeah,
hear
yeah,
this. Who's doing the rendering or design of your car?
Factory 83 is
Wow,
doing
there you go.
the
So you
renderings
know it's
on
going to be
both-
super
on
cool.
both cars.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Ian,
super
Ian
cool.
knows a thing or two about livery designs.
So Factory 83 is designed Matt Fields. He's designed Hertz.
Dude, he's
He's
like,
designed. He's,
like he's so many
done-
people. I mean, since Rob Primos, I think, like back in the day.
Yep.
Yep.
He did. I mean, You talk about like professional.
He's done a lot of work. And that's the thing is Factory 83 is kind of like the bar now for sweet liveries.
Yeah, he did my buddy Chris Soren, my partner with 2F. He did the FRS as well.
Yep.
Dude, yeah,
I saw some sweet liveries in the making today.
Oh, what'd you see?
I can't talk about it.
Oh,
You can't say anything, Sam? For what cars, Sam?
Sam is the worst insider.
Sam, what cars did you see liveries for? Dang it.
I saw some early renditions of Turk and Forsberg's liveries.
Whoa!
And
Oh, nice.
spoiler alert, Forsberg gonna have some orange on there.
Oh!
I heard
Orange skating along the lines of the NDA.
Yeah, here we go.
like it.
I'm sorry to
Orange is the new black.
Leaky.
Turk is gonna be running a little bit of the color red.
Ooh.
Oh.
Also, wheels. Both of the cars gonna have them.
Wheels on
Oh,
'em?
nice. So, I mean, my guess right now, Turk, color red, sponsored by Kool-Aid.
Sponsored by Red Rockets.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
That'd be a sick hood wrap for sure.
Go through
we're
walls.
waiting for the non-automotive brands to get into drifting. Come on, guys. We want to see Kool-Aid. We want to see Viagra.
Well, it sounds
We
like
wanna
they're set up for
see-
McDonald's.
McDonald's, yep.
Yep.
He's gonna be running golden.
Goldschlager
Ryan did
sponsors.
run golden red kind of get the copper wheels and red. So there you go. Maybe McDonald's is gonna be in this year.
I think whoever brings in the Viagra sponsorship is definitely going to be some stiff competition.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
Hey, dude, you want to become part of the hosts? It seems like you have the right.
Well, you're out, Paco.
that joke.
Ryan's in.
Yeah.
Paco just made
I'll be
his...
a guest host when Sam's too busy rock starring out.
Sam, you piece of shit.
Whoa, hey. Also, okay, Ryan. Next question. What were you doing November 1st, 2017?
I was in SEMA, right? I was SEMA.
It looks like you were hanging out with a known murderer.
What?
You
That's
mean,
right.
You mean Heisman winner? I
Yeah,
don't know,
that's
man,
what
that glove didn't fit, so you know.
You must have quit.
I
There's
guess-
a photo on Instagram.
I
of
mean,
Ryan
dude,
hanging
like
out
you know,
with
like I'm not like a fan of the dude, but like
I know,
that guy
I
is
know.
a celebrity. Like that is
know,
that is U.S. culture right there.
I'm not denying the photo. I absolutely would have done that too, but that's insane that you're just hanging out with O.J. Simpson in a
What?
Las Vegas bar.
Let
you
me
know
see
what's
this.
really funny about that, man? So like we were at a business meeting at a random bar there in the Cosmopolitan.
Yeah.
And someone that was talking, we were having a discussion, and someone that was sitting adjacent from me in front of me was like, "Oh my gosh, that's O.J. Simpson!" Like trying to like make you look. I thought it was a complete joke.
juice.
I was like, "Yeah, right, man. Be quiet." Like, no, he's not there. I turned around. I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's O.J. Simpson, man. It's the juice."
Yeah.
And then I looked at him. and I was like, "Dude, the juice is loose." I didn't really say that. I wanted
Yeah.
to.
You
Though.
should. I would have for sure.
You know, I wasn't that brazen. But dude, he was really cool, man. He took pictures with all of us. But then I come to find out that he got kicked out of the Cosmo. So maybe I shouldn't have given him that extra Patron shot. I probably sent him over the edge.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
it's your
So
fault.
how did that go about? Did you walk up to it and you're like, "Hey, Juice, what's up, my man?"
I did, man. I was like, "Juice, what's going on, man?" He was like, "It's just good. It's just
No.
good to be out, dog."
No, he's like, I'm just
Good to
no.
be out.
He's like, dude, I'm just straight killing it right now.
Wait, his impersonation was perfect. Do that again.
It's just good to be out, dog.
I'm just.
Wait, that-
super pumped.
And then
He
you
was
proceeded
super
to buy
pumped.
him a shot of Patron, and then he got kicked out of the Cosmo.
I wasn't there when he got kicked out, but you know, it happened. I guess it could. I don't even know if it was that night, but
Did he give
I
you?
don't know.
Is he now?
It makes for better storytelling to tell it like that.
Is he now supporting your program?
No, because he. I mean, maybe after he. I know that he was sitting down with his legal team and having drinks with them,
Yeah.
and he's suing Cosmo for $100 million. So maybe after that goes through, maybe I can hit him up. Be like, "Hey, what's up, man?"
That's good.
You know?
It's gonna be your secret door sponsor for 2019.
O.J. Simpson.
O.J. Simpson.
No.
Get
No,
your
it isn't.
slice
Well,
of the
look,
pie.
Ryan already
Part of
has.
that. Part of that 7-figure contract is I have to wear black leather gloves.
Oh man.
Well, also
But
your
it's one size too small.
isn't your livery
Yeah,
halfway?
one size too small.
Your livery's halfway there. You have a big knife on the side of your car. You did at one point, didn't you? Knife and a palm tree.
Ooh.
You're already almost
Some
there.
machete.
Yep.
It's a machete. I don't think they used a machete.
So is that what like
They weren't
us
down.
versus them means? Like kind of like us versus.
It's OJ's versus us.
yeah, like, so like that.
Colin is
Yep.
actually getting his Ultra 4 Bronco sponsored by him.
Oh man, that'd be tight. They're supposed to come out with a new one, right? He just
This
got
is-
released, man.
this is
that'd be a
history on the
that'd be a
making
marketing
right here.
campaign right there.
Is Ford dropping the ball by not having a Ford Performance like O.J. Simpson version of the Bronco?
Hold
All
on.
tinted, all blacked out.
The getaway
Right.
version.
It's
Hold
like
on.
it's like an interior
No.
design. It's like an interior package, the O.G. Simpson interior package.
I'm just actually. Do you know what I'm
Yeah, I
thinking
got
about?
that blood red interior. You know,
like
you know
the
what I'm
Andy
saying?
Bauer, you get the O.J. Simpson
Well,
package.
I might need your guys' help. If O.J. Simpson, if his team owner's gonna be the Juice, what's Ryan's nickname gonna be?
The Gazelle. We already came up with that.
I think it's L. Yeah, the Juice and Gazelle 2018.
Is he? Well,
So
the term
graceful.
Paco, yeah, graceful.
That sounds more like a law firm. Juice and Gazelle, attorneys at law.
Yeah, that is good.
Perfect.
What is this awful? I just started looking at Instagram to see these Instagram questions. Paco or Corey, whoever posted this, what is
yeah.
that picture on Instagram of the Z?
So, if you want some
That's
background,
that's the 2049 program.
Yeah.
Like that, yeah.
it's small wheels for more torque.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Right.
We're trying to
Before
level the playing field.
So,
you guys ready to go to Instagram, or do Paco and Corey? Do you guys have more questions?
Let's go to Instagram.
yeah, let's go to Instagram and let me address that photo actually, because that was actually
You
great.
should have Ryan explain it.
Oh, can you explain it, Ryan?
He said it's
I,
2049.
that's way over. Yeah, that's
Over
way
his
my
payroll?
head. I don't
Yeah.
know. That's out of my department.
I would
don't
say-
know
I would
anything
say-
about that.
As many people who knows Greg, Core Works, Greg
He's
Bussell.
the best.
Yeah, we would say he's kind of a jokester. Do you say he likes to party?
Okay, keep going.
He's just a really just fun guy to be around. That's why I'm just really excited. You know, that was like the huge selling point for me. It's like I just want to work with Greg.
Yeah.
I love Greg.
Dude,
He's
that's
a
the
man.
best. Yeah, Greg's the best. So yeah, so Greg, he sent me a possible preview of what the car would look like, but he's like, it's not done, so let's not publish that yet, out of respect for Ian's livery until it's
Can
completely
you pull
done.
that picture up? Go to Instagram /Maximum Driftcast, Brian. Pull it up real quick. Go ahead, keep explaining.
Yeah.
Paco.
So instead of that, he's like, just put this one instead. That's pretty much what the car's gonna look like without the stickers.
So he's developed. He's
I mean, that
developed.
looks sweet.
Super tight.
We have BBB
I mean, in
here.
2049, that would probably be like the hottest car on the grid. So you know,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Or I
No
mean,
question.
maybe just drop it in 2019, and you could be living in 2049 when everyone else is living 2019.
Nice.
All right,
Like
hold on.
Kanye West.
Big Balls is pulling it
I'll
up right
think about
now
that
for
next
the
year. Think
stream.
about it next
Okay,
year.
let's see it. Wow, that thing
And-
is glorious. You have like a front dual
Why don't you
steer.
It looks
Dual
like
front steer.
Homer
That's-
Simpson's.
got- It's got four wheels like most cars, but most of them are in the front. They're on the front before the driver. It looks like they're 7-inch wheels.
Yep,
Uh,
chrome, really chrome.
Just
And what
one
you
big
can't see
fat
is
wheel in
the
the back.
caster wheels in the back. That's how we're
Okay.
able to get the rotation, like a shopping cart.
Yeah, that makes
We're
sense.
taking
Like,
All the
in
angle,
back.
yeah.
That's the next level. You guys don't know. You guys don't know about it yet.
Oops.
I can't talk about it too much.
Dude,
are there
yeah.
any rules
You know.
in Formula Drift that says you have to have four wheels? Because I feel like maybe that's the next thing.
I think it's just all wheels have to be attached. It's kind
Okay.
of like pre 60s cars. You have to wear a seatbelt, but if the car wasn't equipped with a seatbelt, then
Yeah, I wonder
you don't
what
have to wear it. You know.
I want to see. I can't wait till the year that eventually it does happen. Someone's gonna do like a Formula One style, like submarine warfare of bending the rules. That someone's gonna show up with like the 6-wheeled car. Someone's gonna do something so absurd, like they're gonna have a gigantic fan in front of their car that blows smoke at the lead driver when the lead driver is leading. Like it's gonna be insane. Someone's gonna do something absolutely ridiculous, and it's gonna change drifting for a minute.
It's gonna
What
be
car was that? That was like the Elf Oil. I don't know what
Yeah.
specific team that was, but I wish I was there for that board meeting. Like, you know what? We need 2 extra wheels and 2 extra steering racks up front. That will give us the competitive edge.
Well, they're
for
probably
success.
like, do you know what, guys?
Extra grip.
It doesn't make sense to keep the spares on the trailer when we can just put them on the car now.
There you
For
go.
sure. Boom.
Boom.
I didn't think of it like that.
Yeah.
Changing the sport as
Yep.
you guys listening.
All right, let's.
Do you? Let's get to some questions. First of all, do you play video games, Ryan?
Yeah, I do.
Max Frolic from the chat wants us to ask you about PUBG. Do you play PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds?
Yeah, I do.
Oh,
At night.
Corey and I did you watch the show start up?
No.
Corey
No.
and I did a joke. We did a goof about PUBG.
Yep.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Corey and I
man.
played a bit over the weekend. We got
You
like
guys play on PC though, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, bummer. Yeah, I'm an Xboxer.
I heard the
Yeah,
graphics
Brad.
on Xbox are freaking amazing.
They're supposed to. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
Well, you're
You were
good.
saying? Oh, okay.
I was calling you a pleb. Go on.
Uh,
Christmas noob.
but I think they're gonna start like blending the formats, right? So like if you're on Xbox, you can play with someone on PC or PS4 or whatever.
They're mixing the platforms so they can play on both.
That'd be
and they're trying to do that with.
I don't know if you're good enough to play with us, honestly, because Corey and I only chicky dinner.
Yep.
But
okay.
Every game, not a problem.
It's like Thanksgiving every day when we play. So
Thanksgiving every damn day.
Nice.
And just so you know, if you're ever playing against Corey, he's definitely never wearing pants when he's playing.
Oh yeah.
Or underwear.
Yeah.
I mean, who would in this economy? He can't afford.
He can't afford that kind of luxury.
No. You just go out there and you wing it. You let it dangle and you go mangle, dude.
That's what you call it, winging it.
Yep.
Dangle
how
and
do
mangle.
How do you guys play? Do you guys like go all out, or do you guys kind of like try to stay hidden till the end? And like,
I mean,
the best way is just to get a vehicle. Like,
I like to. So what I like to do is let everyone know how aggressive I am. So I'll get a car. I'll honk everywhere. If people are trying to hide, I'll be shooting guns into the air. Mostly, I jump out and I bleed in front of my friends. I hit my friends with cars. Pretty much an all-around good player.
Yeah, Sam is more... Nice. The sooner Sam can take out his own team, the sooner he can advance on his own, and that's what he does. And I didn't realize that until I played with him the first time this weekend.
Classic Sam Nalvin right there.
It's a game, and
dude, it really is, man. It'll like totally change the way that you think about like your own self. Like I've had to question my own self. Like me and that dude Max will play with our other homies. And like so they'll do the 4-man squad. So if you only have 3 guys, they'll get one random dude in there.
The random guy with a wild card.
so like the odd man out, dude. I feel really bad for these guys, dude. They'll be super nice. They'll like give you all your health. Like one guy even like ran and got a car, and then we'll like wait till like halfway in the game. He's got all of his loot, and we'll take him out to like some desolate place and just cap him.
Cap him round the knee.
They'll jump out of the airplane on the other end of the map and just play solo.
See, I set the bar pretty high when I'm playing with a pub guy. I usually tell him we're jumping like really soon, let him jump on his own, and we keep flying until the next one. All right, we're jumping in 3, 2, 1. We let him bell, and we keep going. All right. Or I set the law down pretty quickly. Like, listen here, soldier, you're gonna listen to me, and wherever I go, you're going.
Now go find me some shit.
Yep.
I expect you to come back with an 8X and level 3 helmet. All right. Let's get into things.
You guys are a bunch of nerds.
Sorry,
I lost most of the drift fans that don't trust us.
Just to get him back real quick, Ryan is also an avid video game drifter. So video games bring him back to drifting.
Hey, Big Balls, have you played against Litteral on the internet?
I just got Forza 7, I think about 2 weeks now. But yeah, hit me up if you ever want to do it.
If you want, up on the low.
If you want a challenge, because this guy right here, let me tell you, he's a freaking Forza drifting genius. He even gets reported, like, for other kids, like, reporting because they think he's cheating.
Yeah, I get reported for cheating, modded controller, all kinds of. At least a couple of times a week.
You got positive camber and all-wheel drive? I know.
No positive camber, no all-wheel drive. No, I go in the rear-wheel drive lobbies.
What's your username, Brian?
It's an Xbox. It's
Buttlicker44.
Lowercase x space 8 space bit.
Oh my
space
God!
Brian
All right.
space. Yeah, it's. I can type it out.
You have to change that.
It is. It was an because they won't let you have your gamer tag start with a number. I was just gonna have like all 8-bit Brian, but no. And then there's variations of 8-bit Brians that are apparently already claimed.
Just call it the 8-bit Brian 69.
I should.
Yep.
I'll change it, and if I do, I'll update everybody.
Can't you spell 8?
No, it's too hard. Too many.
Spelling.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
All right. We'll manage to get you guys together, and we'll watch that and we'll see who's better.
All right. Tiara W Drift says, "Who are you most excited to battle in FD this year?"
I don't know.
All right, good answer. Thanks for all the help.
Perfect.
Cool. Ryan Litteral, everyone.
Yo, it's Sandy asks, Ryan, out of 2017 Pro 2 drivers list, who are you going to marry, kill, and bang?
I didn't really pay attention to Pro 2. I'll just pick Corey for all of them.
Cool. All right, Ryan.
Just kill me last.
Thanks, Ryan.
You're welcome.
Let's see.
I mean, well, so you haven't paid attention to Pro 2. You don't know who you're going to go up against. Who's the most feared person? Do you know? Who are you? Who's going to win Pro 2 this year that isn't you?
that isn't like the best thing for me to say. Of course, it's going to be me. Come on, I got to be a competitor here.
All right, regular Matt Field over here. Who's gonna win pro?
I don't know. It depends on how I mean, James Dean obviously came over and did really well. You're right, but you know, Forrest I know is putting some major changes into his car. I'm excited to see him back. Justin's coming back, you know, doing some more cool stuff with his car. I don't know. I mean, dude, Chelsea was killing it last year at Irwindale. He looked so collected and together with his car, man. And I think that now that his car is like super dialed, and I think he's definitely going to be someone to watch out for next year. If he can stay consistent, he doesn't really have an excuse why he wouldn't be a major contender for that.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see his progression in the Mustang.
For sure.
All right, Paco, you're up. I know you're about ready to fight me. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was ready. Like, dude, you guys already had like 5 questions. So, Nate Spinks, did you shit your pants doing man line at Hoonigan? For people who don't know, on Hoonigan's daily transmission, they have it's called the man line, where they drift up and down on the deck and the loading dock through a metal ramp. And Ryan did like a super sick run. It was like out of this world. So,
all right. So ask the question again. Did you
shit your pants doing man line at Hoonigan?
I mean, dude, like I wasn't like even wearing a seatbelt when I did that, and like I just like looked at it, and well, I mean, like I kind of just like got away from myself a little bit. I didn't really think it was going to be that gnarly, but there was a couple sections because like it's obviously really like short, right? And I just like left the car in second. I'm just playing with some like higher wheel speeds than are probably seen there, like driving like that. But no, not really. I mean, I'm pretty used to driving in like tight areas, technical sections. I mean, driving in Adams and Grange and stuff like that. It's like same size as that, essentially. So I had a lot of practice for that, but no, it was fun. But yeah, risky for sure.
So it looked better on video.
Paco, come on, no.
To be fair, it's actually safer to not wear a seatbelt when you're racing because that way you get thrown clear of the crash.
Right. Yeah, you want to get ejected.
Well, I figured, there's like they have like a huge open parking lot, so I could probably like bail at any given time.
True.
As you know, yeah.
All right, here you go. This is from underworld.j. Real question: work equips or VSKFs?
Equips all day.
Woo!
For sure.
Wheels. Those things are sick.
Style.
All right, Paco. That was my question for your long one that you just asked. Go ahead and ask another one, Paco. You're up.
Tayten drum. Jesus. 10 drum. Man. Okay. Ryan.
Yeah, I don't know.
How many?
That's not a question. That's a name.
That's a name.
Like, what kind of question is that?
What is your first name?
Ryan, how many Johnnies you gonna have for the 2018 season?
24 Johnnies.
24 Johnnies.
What's it, Johnny?
That's a wheel.
Yeah. Yep.
That's Hertrick's language, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's a hot boy wheel, Sam.
Hot boy, exactly.
if you have to ask. You can't know about it.
Ooh.
Okay.
All right, here you go.
Fine.
Tantrum Drum Man.
That's the same guy.
Yep. What
Okay.
ridiculous
He's got the
nickname?
fire.
What ridiculous name will Jared give you this year?
The Gazelle. Done.
That's our name, Sam.
We are not making that stick.
Jared's going to take it. Jared.
It's happening, bro.
He's gonna take it and run, right?
Take it and run like a
Oh my
Gazelle.
gosh.
Ryan, the
Fine.
Gazelle.
I'm gonna skip that then. Here, let's go to Fred Lump Lump. What does style mean to you, and why do you do it?
He's been asking me for something like this for a while. The style to me is just like, I mean, it's like a very important aspect of our sport, and not necessarily just into your car, but like who you are as a person. So like, I think like a car's style is definitely a huge reflection over someone's character and kind of like their vibe, essentially. Yeah, car's got to look good, it's got to sound good, and you got to drive it good. So all around. Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
I guess.
Say that
I don't know.
it's the
I don't know
most
what else to say.
important thing, maybe. No, it's the most. I think it's the most important thing. Style. You could drive really poorly like Corey, but for some reason people still like him.
He's just a good dude. He's just a funny guy. I just love Corey.
Oh,
I'm so happy you did the mic. Oh no, he's still here. Awkward.
Okay, it seems like a lot of our
what?
It's saying like a lot of our Instagram followers have been changing their usernames, and they just keep coming with the best names ever.
Tall underscore goober says, how do you keep those RB25s reliable?
Top secret.
Top secret. All right. Thanks for
Ooh,
all the help.
Here's one.
That's
Ryan
good,
Litteral
Rush.
doesn't support the drift community. You heard it here first.
Here's one.
Dude, it really isn't rocket science, man. You know, it's like anything. It's all in how everything is prepared and put together. You know, I've heard a lot of like people that have been asking me, like, oh, well, how did you do this? Did you line hone it? Did you get everything balanced and blueprinted? Like, there's just a lot of things. It's just more prep. It's with anything, and how well you take care of something is how long it's going to last.
Mm.
If you just slap something together and you don't, do the proper machining, and you don't take, extra steps in using good tools that are calibrated, and making sure everything's torqued down right, and you have a good tuner, good builder. I mean, it's all pretty simple stuff.
Well, let's turn the question around then. What's the biggest mistake someone can make in building an RB setup?
Not taking care of it. I mean,
Is there like, well, is it?
I don't know really what to say, man. I just told you, like,
Let's
you
say
gotta, huh?
Let's say down like the upgrade path. What would you mess up by upgrading? Like, let's say you add a bunch of boosts to it. What's the first part that's going to fail?
I mean, the big thing is oil control is a big thing with those motors. So, obviously they have like a really similar problem to LS, where when you're banging on the limiter, all the oil wants to stay up and trap and accumulate it in the head and doesn't drain back down to the bottom end fast enough. So there's modifications that you can do to limit and restrict that and increase flow back down to the lower end. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about it.
Well, at least I got some answer out of you there. And
Nice
actually,
journalism, Sam.
Corey actually is really good at getting things to go straight to his bottom end. There's not a lot of restrictions there.
Well, that's when you add a lot of oil, Sam. So
yeah.
it's you listen to here first, so you hear.
I really like this question from Miles Case. He says, fuck, I don't know. What's your favorite Pokemon or something?
I don't like Pokemon.
Okay.
I always took you for kind of a Wigglytuff kind of guy.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
I think
it's more of a Snorlax, Sam.
Yeah,
but...
I was gonna say it sounds like a real Snorlax, or maybe a Raichu.
I personally think he's totally a Squirtle.
A Squirtle. That's what he had after he ate Mexican food.
You know from experience? He's
All right, here's one. This is from M Frex. What car would you drift if Nissan wasn't an option?
I would probably. I like the new Mustangs. I think the new Mustangs look really cool.
Would you consider driving for Vaughn?
I'd be. I mean, I'm open to opportunities. I'm sure
I'll
that
think
isn't
about
on the
it.
table, but I mean, I'm open to opportunities.
What if he calls like right after the show and he's like, "Hey man, I was listening, and you don't sound that interested anymore."
Yeah.
So I guess offers off the table.
I told you I'm extremely. I mean, I'm interested. I just don't think the opportunity would be there.
Well, all right, so
No,
Vaughn doesn't like pessimists. I'll tell you firsthand. So now the opportunity is off the table.
All right. Next question.
I have a question from Richard Dinger, Hot Dog Flinger.
Oh, that's a. Can you repeat that name? That sounded really cool. Do it again.
Richard Dinger, Hot Dog Flinger.
Yep.
I'm just seeing that in neon right now.
I know exactly what you're talking about. So he's asking a very funny question.
Okay.
Is there anyone you miss that is no longer in Formula D that you would that you just want to tandem competitively with because they made you fight for it?
Paco, get it together, dude.
You can if it doesn't make sense, you don't have to read it, Paco.
Cool
No,
to go
I read
against
it
guys
just like that,
Paco, or like even like Takatori would be cool to drive up against, and his R34 would be really cool. Man, I always thought like Bill Sherman was a shredder.
Who the hell's Bill Sherman?
He used to drive for Njuku.
Old.
Yeah.
Early FD.
Dude, like I would watch him like on some of like his qualifying runs, like and even like some of his battles, like that dude was just like never afraid to like back it up on the wall. I just thought it was cool.
You remember that
was,
red
like, aggressive style.
350Z that was like batteries plus 350Z he had for a while?
Well, yeah, he drove a Z for a while, right? It was like LS powered or something.
Yeah.
Wasn't it like the old Braille car that Pat used to drive? They got converted over.
Yeah, that's the one.
Upgraded, and he drove it.
Yeah, he did really good in that car. I remember him.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he wasn't afraid to drag that thing. I thought it was sick.
Literally the first time I've ever heard that name in my life, and I know
Really?
that I'm bad at 2010 drifting, but I'm the worst.
Were you? Oh, so you don't know about that?
No,
You
I've
really
literally,
don't know?
I've literally never heard the name in my life, which is kind of strange.
Oh,
Maybe.
yeah.
So here you
I
go.
mean, it wasn't like he was like. I mean, he was the main driver for Njuki. He drove for a long time, like since the beginning. But I mean, he wasn't like a Vaughn. You know,
Yeah.
but he threw it down.
We'll
So I don't
get
claim
we'll
to be
get
an
him on the show.
authority.
We'll get Sam up to speed. This is from
Thank you.
Beat Farmer 89. Would you rather use a controller or wheel to drift in Forza?
Come on,
Dude,
B.
I can't use a wheel. Like it has to be a controller.
Wait, what?
I've been using it for so long. Like I just can't do it. Like the way that I drive with a controller, it's like to me is like simulating driving. Like in my brain, I'm like, yeah, clutch. And
You know-
it's like I don't know.
You
It's
know,
weird.
it's true, and that's actually a really good thing to bring up. Is that it doesn't matter if you have a wheel or a controller; it's just how you interpret it into that virtual environment. And if as long because I
Yep.
drifted with lots of really amazing controller drifters, and you couldn't tell the difference. If they were on a wheel or not. They just knew where to bring the line. They knew where to push the power. They knew where to slide it and put it. And it's just you drift with these guys, and as long as you're good with the controller, I'm down to drift with anybody. It's just, the guys who try to, like, torpedo into you. I don't want to get into, complaining about it. But, yeah, you're absolutely right.
The challenge is out there.
Take it easy, nerds. Video games are for idiots.
Except Battle Unknown
He just doesn't
Player
want,
Grounds.
He just doesn't want to talk about anything other than PUBG.
I know.
Exactly.
And Pokemon. This is something that we forgot to do, and we usually talk to every guest about this. But Fred Lumplup from the Facebook chat brought up, when did you start drifting? Like, what was your first drift? What was your first car? We forgot to do that entirely.
I started in 2006. I had a 1990 240SX, had a hatch with a clapped out single cam, worn out VLSD and some blown JSC coilovers. And my first drift event was at Drift Buffet at Orange Show, which was 10 minutes away from my house. So it was cool.
Drift Buffet. That sounds like a night. Did they have a crab and shrimp cocktails?
They didn't, but they were definitely serving it up.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
They were serving up the slide buffet.
A lot of people keeps
All you could eat.
a lot of people keeps mentioning an 86. Did you had a Corolla as well?
I used to, yeah.
He
So-
mentioned that on the show, Paco. It had 20 valves. It had a red top.
You got some of that. I'm glad that those are the cliff notes there.
No, I listened.
I actually sold it 2 years ago. I sold it to Ryan Cato. And
Oh,
he stripped
uh-huh.
everything from it and he put it into a Corolla of his own.
That's
so it
awesome,
lives
dude.
on.
Nice.
Here's my last question.
Uh-oh.
This is from Julian Simmons from Facebook. If you can drive any two competitors' car, one from Po 1 and one from Po 2, what cars would you pick?
I don't know. I would like to drive the JTP's Mustang, and I like to drive Vaughn or Chelsea's Mustang to really feel the difference.
You're just
To really see what would. I don't know. I think that's a cool car, man.
No, it
Get
is.
off of me. Get off
No,
of me.
I'm
It's a cool
not,
car.
I'm not on you. It is a cool car, dude. I like the car a lot.
You better like that car.
I know I do. Don't test me.
Sam used to drive a Mustang too at some point in
Yeah, it
his
was a
life.
Ford. It had a Ford Pro body on it.
And that was a Ford Probe Mustang. It was sick. Version.
I think to drive into one of those cars, and then I think it'd be cool to drive Forrest's 15 and James Dean's 14. I think it'd be cool to drive two of the exact same car
And
to
see how they're
how
different.
somebody else would set it up differently to what's cool. You know,
That's a common question. You know what's funny? That's a common question we ask pretty regularly, and that's what the fans ask usually. And nobody's answered
Yeah.
it like that. It's pretty interesting. That's a good thought. Good theory.
Would you rather drive my broken S14 or Corey's broken S14?
Yours actually runs, right?
Kind
Or
of.
do they both not run?
Ah.
Well,
Kind of.
mine has a bad boost leak and some electrical gremlins. Corey
Well,
doesn't even have a motor.
I'm pretty sure we could find those and it would be good. So
What about
Oh
a-
man,
yours seems like the path of least resistance.
how
So
close
I'll
are you?
drive that one now.
How close are you to Ontario, California?
10 minutes.
No shit. Do you want to
Yeah.
fix my car for free?
No.
All right, cool. Thank you.
It was a good try though.
I think we're done here. You guys want to shut the show down?
Yeah, let's shut it down. Ryan, thank you for your time. You're the man. We wish you the best luck going in 2018. We look forward to seeing you back in Pro 2 and Gridlife and the Hoonigan show.
Are you going to be at Long Beach?
I will be. I will be there. And Corey, best of luck with you too, man. I really hope you get everything situated with your car and you have a good year this year, man.
It will happen, dude. Just as you know, sometimes it works in your favor, sometimes it don't. But once again, as long as you have the dedication to get through it, then get through it. That's all it is.
You deserve it, man. You've been putting in some work, man. You deserve it.
Well, I appreciate you.
I really hope the best for you, bro.
Well, I appreciate you. And I hope we're going to be driving a Gridlife together too. So
absolutely,
let's party there
this year, man.
I'll be the monster truck and you'll be the style looking dude. So
right on. Well, I have a dune buggy now. I don't know if you saw my post. So.
What? Well, cool beans, brother. Well, we'll be seeing you soon. Stay in touch, and we'll be talking to you.
Right on, guys. You guys have a good night. Take care.
Thanks, man.
Right, later,
buddy.
brother.
Dreams.
Later.
Good dreams. Really sweet dreams.
Sweet dreams are made of these.
Guys. I liked him, but he got sassy with me. And I want to warn people coming up. Any guest going to be on the show, you better watch what you fucking say.
Hey, Sam, real quick. I've never heard
Brian. Can you
hold
explain to them
on,
that I'm holding the knife real quick? Can you tell them?
Hey, real quick, Sam. I never heard Brian be mean to anybody, but I want to hear Brian let it rip on Ryan right now.
Yeah,
Brian, let it rip. What do you think of what just happened?
With what?
Just what do you think of Ryan and the whole conversation? Tell him how you really feel, dude.
I don't think Ryan's that good at Forza.
Boom! Oh my God, that was rude. That was freaking rude. I didn't say go that hard, but you know, I was hoping you were gonna make fun of like his cars or anything. But yeah,
to be fair, in his defense, that's because he spends a lot more time with real cars than I do. So that's why.
I didn't. Sorry, guys. I want to apologize to all our listeners. I didn't think Big Balls was going to go that hard. We may have to bleep some of that out, but
censorship. Yeah, absolutely. By the way, guys, I found something. So you know, I've been cleaning my garage and organizing it and making it nice. Now it is a garage. It's not a storage unit.
Yep.
And I found something.
What did you? Oh my God! Yes, this is the greatest thing. For some of you guys that are not watching the live stream, Paco has a football here, and we told the story how Paco had adjustable spring rates in the van. And what he did is he put this football in between inside the spring, and so you can adjust pressure by literally getting a pump and filling it up, or you can soften it by releasing pressure. But this was the football that Paco used.
This is the one that survived. The other one popped.
Yep.
This one's
Paco
still good.
was riding on air.
Yep.
Yeah. Dude, I think I had the very first adjustable dampening suspension on a solid axle Toyota Previa.
Here, Brian, can you cut to me real quick,
Is
Brian?
that like a spring/bag type of like suspension or something?
It still has the grooves.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a hybrid
from the spring.
Oh yeah, it got marked. It was actually was a bitch to pull it out of the spring. I had to cut it.
That's Paco engineering right there.
That's so dope.
If you want Paco to work on your car,
send it over.
He's
got
not
a lot of room
cheap.
for more cars.
He's not cheap. He only uses the best materials.
He only uses the best
it's
footballs
about $250 an hour.
$250 a football.
Yep.
Football mod.
Thanks for sharing that, Paco. That's awesome.
4?
That's not a football. That's golf. Now he got his American sports all mixed up. And anyways, guys, thanks again for tuning in. We got to thank our sponsors, AM McLeod, Patreon.
Thank all our Patreons that are still there. A lot of you guys got your cool shit and you left. That's fine. That's what I would do too, because I don't support good podcasts either. But even if you guys gave $1 a show, that would still be incredible. And in that way, Paco could buy more cars, because really that's what he needs. And without your support on Patreon, there's no way Paco can get his 15th car.
And by the way, the donations are going to things like the website. You guys help build the website. Yeah, so once again, that's more feedback to you guys.
Literally, none of us have pocketed $1 on the show. It's all strictly gone back into infrastructure of the show and making initial orders of merch and building a website and getting us out to events and what have you. So.
And then also we have our 2 items. We'll have some shirts posted soon. You can pick those up. And other than that, guys, thanks for being a part of the show. Thanks for tuning in.
Sam, thanks. Oh, my.
You almost throw up again. Okay. All right, Sam.
All right.
You got to throw up next, Sam?
All right. I just want to throw up in my mouth real quick.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
That's all I got. I got nothing.
Died on live.
See ya.
Guys, have a good night. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye. Oh, look. Nice little transition right there.
Almost there. Just give me a second, guys.
Good night.